Welcome to the Couch Potato Sports Show,
your internet radio home for all sports, news, and talk.
Join Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio,
and the Eagle Eye,
Bill Cerna,
and the best co-host anyone could ask for,
Cuervo. We cover it all.
NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, as well as indoor football and high school sports.
Now, it's time. Here's Sonny Clark.
Oh, yo, everybody. Welcome into the Couch Potato Sports Show. It is me, Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, here on our Sunday morning tradition that continues on into 2021 and into week number 17 of the NFL. Lots of things going on in the NFL. Lots of things that we may or may not talk about today. But, folks, let's do a scheduling program update here for you, as we are not just on air today. Come tomorrow. Yes, sir, that's right. It is time for Black Monday here on the Couch Potato Sports Show, as there will be maybe some moves in the NFL as far as the head coaching positions are concerned. We'll talk about it at 1:30 tomorrow. Make sure you catch it. It will be a lot of fun. And we already know one of them that is going to be done at the end of business today, and that's the business of football. The New York Football Jets will be moving on from Adam Gase. Big surprise. And so that being said, that opens up the doors. Now, there was also a lot of talk about Trevor being the guy, but then Fields come and has a game that maybe, and I say maybe, will bring the attention to either the Jacksonville Jaguars, Happy New Year to the boss, to the Jacksonville Jaguar, or Fields to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So what's that gonna be all about? Hell, I don't know, nor does it matter. Myself, I don't know. And I'm a Jaguar fan. Those that don't know about Sonny Clark and his alliance with this football team, I am a Jaguar fan. I know it's been pretty sad for the last 3 years, 2 to 3 years. They had a great defense 3 years ago, go to the AFC Championship game, and then just let it go. But it is what it is. But so lots of things to be talking about in today's show. We will hold off on head coaching talk, as we'll be doing a lot of that more so when we go to Monday, when we talk about that. It's 1:30 Central Standard Time, Central Daylight Standard Time, whatever the frick they want to call it. Man, why do they change things on old people? I don't get it. I mean, I'm lucky to remember my own name, never mind making changes to daylight savings, blah, blah, whatever the hell it is. Makes no sense to me. But, hey, it is me. It is what it is. But that being said, I did not tally. Shoot, I knew I forgot to do something. I did not tally what was going on as far as the numbers are concerned. I did write. I do. Okay, there's a message. There's a message. Oh, okay. We got one. I put in 2 for you, Dennis. 2 games that you missed. So we know what you're going to go on the other one. What about the other one? Check your list. I sent it to you, or your messenger. I sent 2 games for you to pick that I did not get. I need Pittsburgh and Cleveland. That's what I need from you. But that being said, going into this one, let me just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And yeah, that is right. The boss got 8 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 for Bryce. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for that. All right, so the movements as far as the standings are concerned, let me just do the quick math. That's 149 for the boss, 148 for Bryce, 148 for Cuervo, and 146. I'm still 2 damn games behind. I had a good week. Anyway, I'm at 146. So the standings, 149 for the boss. That's how many he's got correct. 148 for Cuervo and Bryce. I'm at 146. So I'll probably finish last in this one as we go along with that. But that's okay. That happens. So we are set here for week 17. Bryce will probably be joining us soon because he's usually a first-hour guy. So he will come out to us after our first break, which we will be taking fairly shortly because I want to make sure we're going to get a lot. We got a lot to talk about. These games, the playoff scenarios and stuff like that is what I'm going to go over now, and then we'll get in there and talk about it. So the 2020 NFL playoff scenarios look like this. In the AFC, the Buffalo Bills have clinched the East title. The Kansas City Chiefs have clinched the first round bye, and obviously as well as the AFC West. The Pittsburgh Steelers have clinched the North title of the AFC. So that leaves this. Baltimore. They take on Cincinnati today, okay? Baltimore will clinch a playoff berth with a win, so they control, quote-unquote, control their own destiny. Or they'll get in with Cleveland losing to Pittsburgh today. Or an Indianapolis loss, and Indy has, who they got? Indianapolis. I know people have picked Indianapolis. Indy. Well, where the hell is it? There it is. Indianapolis. They take on my Jags. Or Baltimore gets a tie and Miami loses. Or Baltimore gets a tie and Tennessee loses. Or Baltimore gets a tie and Cleveland ties. Or Baltimore gets a tie and Indianapolis ties. They went deep. I was like, good. So Baltimore, when you're in, Cleveland loses or Indianapolis loses. They're in. So what about the Cleveland Browns? Simple as this. If Cleveland wins, they're going to get into the playoffs. If Indianapolis loses, they're going to get into the playoffs. Tennessee loses, Miami wins or ties, Baltimore wins or ties, or Cleveland ties, Baltimore loses, or Cleveland ties, Miami loses, Cleveland ties, Tennessee loses, Cleveland ties, Indianapolis ties, or the final scenario for the Cleveland Browns is Cleveland ties, Indianapolis ties, Baltimore wins, and Miami wins. It's pretty sick. So that's where it is. Now, Indianapolis needs a win and a loss for Tennessee, or a tie. A loss or tie for Tennessee. Okay, so that one is set. An Indy tie and a Tennessee loss. All the scenarios work for Indianapolis if they win to get a Baltimore, Cleveland, and Miami loss. So not all together, just one of them. So Indianapolis gets in with a win, with a loss from Baltimore or Cleveland or Miami. And then Indianapolis with a tie with a Baltimore loss, Indianapolis tie with a Cleveland loss, and the Indianapolis tie with the Miami loss. Whew. Now, what about the Dolphins? Dolphins win or Baltimore loses, or Cleveland loses, or Indianapolis loses. So if Baltimore, Cleveland, Indianapolis lose, Miami will get in. Miami, they got to win. So Miami tie with a Baltimore tie, Miami tie with Cleveland, a Miami tie with Indianapolis, or a Miami tie with the Tennessee loss. How does this is nuts. Tennessee win or Indianapolis loss, Tennessee tie and Indianapolis tie, Baltimore loses or Miami loses, a Tennessee tie and Cleveland loss, a Tennessee tie and a Miami loss, a Tennessee tie or Baltimore loss. Man, this is already getting old. But yeah, so no, there's no long or short of it. Yeah, Cleveland plays Cleveland. Thanks for joining us there, Richard. So long shots for some teams that are out there, definitely. And now that was just the AFC side. Let's go to the NFC side. Yeah, it's just I don't even know why I did this because I didn't realize it was going to be that. NFC set, clinch, teams all set. Green Bay Packers, they clinched the North title. New Orleans Saints, they've clinched the South title. These are all NFC. The Seattle Seahawks, okay, clinched the West. Now, that leaves the NFC South open. Right now, Tampa Bay is in, but they have not won the South. That is New Orleans. So the rest of it goes like this. So Carolina and the Saints, what New Orleans wants to do is get that top spot. And this is what's going to happen if New Orleans gets the top spot. First of all, New Orleans has to win. Then Green Bay has to lose. And Seattle has to win. That's the way that they will win the first round bye. So the Packers will clinch the first round bye with a win or a tie or a Seattle loss and tie. That's the way they win and get the first round bye. The Arizona Cardinals, who are fighting for their playoff lives, must win or Arizona gets a tie with the Chicago loss. Then they'll get in. The Chicago Bears on the other side, they got to win. Arizona loss, obviously Chicago tie and an Arizona tie. Got it. All right. I thought they were playing each other. All right. The Dallas Cowboys can win in. If they win, they have to get a loss or a tie from Washington. If the Dallas Cowboy gets a tie, Washington has to lose. That's the way the Dallas Cowboys get in. Well, I could, or I could do that. Well, no, I'll put that up here in a second. I got something to show you. Now, right there. All right. So Washington clinches the NFC title and a playoff spot if they win, or Washington ties with a Dallas loss or tie. So that's how the NFC works. Over there for the Rams, remember, the Rams are 9-6. We just talked about Arizona. The Rams will clinch with a win or a tie or Chicago loss. So that's how that part works out. So the Giants clinch. I should have had that one up. I apologize. The Giants within the NFC East will win the NFC title with a win and a Washington loss. So that's how that part works. Seattle clinches the first round bye with their win with a Green Bay loss or New Orleans loss. And Philadelphia, their situation, Washington plays Philadelphia. Washington has to win. We already covered that. All right, so that's what it is in a nutshell. That's maybe not a nutshell, but the Dallas Cowboy fans, man, they're talking. Of course, we can't stop Dallas Cowboy fans from talking. So Sonny did the work for you, okay? Based upon kind of what I was looking at, and I wrote this down. This is what the Dallas Cowboys have to do to get to Super Bowl 6, number 6 for them. First of all, they got to beat the Giants and get some help. Then they have to beat the Eagles. The Eagles have to beat Washington. Then in the playoffs, Tom Brady, you're going to have to probably meet Tom Brady based upon the numbers and the where they're at. Then you got to beat Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. Then you got to beat Drew Brees in New Orleans. You see where Sonny's going. And then they got to beat Patrick Mahomes. Tough feat for the Dallas Cowboys to get that 6th ring. So when you look at all the numbers and you look how all that, you wonder if the Dallas Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl.
I don't think so, Tim.
Either, but it's what it is. All right, so that's the playoff scenario. Also, Cuervo's going to be joining us. If you've read my thread at all this week, you've seen what I feel about Frank Gore. We're going to get Cuervo's take on Frank Gore and his possibility of the Hall of Fame. Also, and that depends on how deep that we're going to go in this, because we got to cover all of these games today. And we might even just slate that until Monday to talk about Frank Gore. That's hopefully we can get Cuervo in. We may be switching the time so we can get Cuervo in. I haven't talked to him. I just set up the show. That's what time we did it last year, was 1:30 on Black Monday. So, all right. We're set. Week number 17. We're going to be talking about some other things that are going on in the NFL. And there's a lot of things that we will be talking about outside of the games, quite possibly. So, there is Cuervo. Frank the Tank Gore. Oh, God. Would you please? Cuervo, would you please? Don't come in here. We're going to go to break. When we come back, then it seems like Cuervo's ready to rock and roll. That means he's probably ready. So we'll do this. Let's take our first quick break. We'll take our other quick break probably in the middle of the second hour. We'll be back here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. It's that being said, week number 17. We'll be right back.
At Wesson General Contracting Incorporated, we're your one-stop shop for all your general contracting needs. We are locally owned and with over 20 years of experience, so roofing, gutters, sidings, fence staining, painting, foundation problems, or roof damage are no problems at all. Give us a call at 214-200-5588. That's 214-200-5588. Wesson General Contractors, proud sponsor of the Rowlett Eagles radio broadcast. Let Buffalo Creek Doors and Floors help you restore your home to its like-new condition. Need a contractor? Let us be your first stop as well as your last. We specialize in everything that others don't, such as stained concrete floors, wood spot repairs on doors and floors, stainless steel spot repairs, anti-slip on floors, and more. Want to see what kind of work we do? Check out our Facebook page and you can see the craftsmanship you'll receive and expect from Buffalo Creek Doors and Floors. Give Rodney James a call at 214-536-2607. That's 214-536-2607. Or check him out on the web at www.buffalocreekdoorsandfloors.com. This is Sonny Clark, radio voice of your Rowlett Eagles, letting you know about Liberty Air and Heat. Everybody knows what the Texas Heat can do to your air conditioning and heating systems. That's why you need the experts that deliver the best and most honest service in the Rowlett area. We provide the high-quality air conditioning and heating services that keep you more comfortable when you need it. We strive to always meet and exceed customers' expectations, competency, and accountability, as well as satisfaction. So contact Liberty Air and Heat at 469-678-9444 or visit them on the web at libertyairandheat.com. Being taken for a ride? Check out Costco Insurance. serving Texans since 1981. Bundle your home, auto, or business insurance to save a ton. Also Insurance on the corner of Main Street and Rowlett Road, where we make insurance fun. Or check us out on the web at CostcoInsurance.com, where we always have the coffee pot on.
Yeah, but is it fresh?
The prospect of retirement can be exciting and scary at the same time. At Nest Egg Wealth Advisors, we have found many people either approaching or currently in retirement failed to truly maximize some of the benefits offered to them, primarily Social Security. What is it? How does it work? It's simply not a benefit that you start receiving at age 62. Because these decisions are so important, my firm has assembled an informational packet on Social Security. If you would like a complimentary copy of Social Security Maximization, please give our office a call today at 972-412-6064 or visit us on the web at nesteggadvice.com.
There's nothing that beats good home-cooked barbecue. Since 1941, Dickey's Barbecue has done all the cooking and you take all the credit. Whether you want real Texas brisket, Virginia ham, southern pulled pork, or fall-off-the-bone ribs, Dickey's Barbecue is the place to go. For lip-smacking, rib-tickling, knee-slapping, foot-stomping, great-tasting barbecue, come see us at Dickey's Barbecue today.
All right, and welcome back into the Couch Potato Sports Show. Just as we went to break, someone hit the green.
You dig it, sucker!
Oh, yeah! I couldn't wait to talk to this guy all week long. I wanted to do a show on Friday. Couldn't get Cuervo, couldn't roll me in.
Dig it, sucker!
But I can dig it, sucker. It is that time. It is Bryce from Brooklyn on the Sunday morning, week 17. How are you, my friend? Looking good. How do you maintain looking good and good looking all the time? What kind of moisturizer do you use on that face? Because, man, I'm telling you right now, the good looks that are holding, I can't believe it. How are you doing this morning, my friend?
You're too kind, Sonny. Happy New Year, buddy. Happy New Year, man.
Right back at you, my friend. Right back at you. How did you spend your New Year's Eve? Did you just stay home and sleep it off like I did?
It was my sister's birthday on New Year's Eve. Happy birthday to my sister. Love you much.
Yeah, they do.
My sister Brenda. Yeah, so we spent time together. It was a fun time. Saw some friends. We had a good time.
Cool. Very good. And
how about you? How'd you spend your New Year's?
I slept right through it. I worked New Year's Eve, and I went home. I had dinner. I laid down at about 9 o'clock, and I woke up at 7. So I had a long day. So hey, believe me, it's just another day up on another day up on another day. But your Pittsburgh Steelers are going old school. Okay, not old school. 1 year school. Okay, last year. We go back to last year, and we got the whole thing. And boy, oh boy, would it be? I don't know. I know they won't be allowed to do it. But you know what would be cool? What would be cool is if they would just let them take off the helmet and have a fun play thing out there. It'd be just a crack up. But you talk about this. You talk about these two teams. That being obviously the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers going at it like they always do. It literally, and especially in week number 17, I'm going to tell you right now, it is literally my favorite game of the season in reality.
Oh, let me tell you something. My dream scenario has become a reality. Oh, I knew it. I saw it weeks ago.
In order for it to relive, because it was almost gone.
I tell you what,
it came back to the.
It was looking bad. They played so bad, but they found it. They found it in the second half. Ben started to push the ball deep. And once he started doing that, started hitting those open guys deep, that turned the whole game around. And the defense really, really dug in.
Yes, they did.
And they shut them down in the second half. The problem with the Indianapolis Colts is they've got good players, but they don't have game breakers. T.Y. Hilton's not a game breaker anymore. Pittman's good, not really a game breaker. Pascal's good, not really a game breaker. Jonathan Taylor's a good back. He's a rookie. They got a good offensive line. They are a solid team, but they don't have the game breakers to compensate for their quarterback, who I just feel at the end of the day now is mistake prone and turnover prone. Yeah, and just, Phillip Rivers is, good quarterback, but not anything. He's not in that elite echelon of quarterbacks. And they were able to really get them off the field. And then Ben started cooking, and they started running the plays that they should have been running. More pistol, getting downhill, pushing the ball to the deep middle. And they were able to come back. Largest comeback in the second half in the Tomlin era. Showed a lot of guts.
Think about this. You think about this also. As far as the Colts are concerned, the move to Phillip Rivers was about the best that they could do. Because obviously, if they remained with what they had, that would be Jacoby Brissett. I don't think they'd be where they're at. Okay, and listen, Jacoby Brissett is an adequate backup. Notice I didn't say good. Notice I didn't say great. He's an adequate backup to do exactly what he needs to do, maybe go in there and give you an opportunity to win during injury time for your starter. The problem is that Indianapolis has depended on a broken down Phillip Rivers to try to get the job done and try to make names out of no names. I mean, when I say, I will tell you, I'm going to ask you I'm going to name one player, and I know you know the answer because you're not dumb. There is a wide receiver by the name of Austin Collie. Who threw that ball to him?
You mean last year?
No, just no.
I believe it was Peyton Manning.
Absolutely. See, now,
and Andrew Luck a little bit, right?
When that guy showed up in Indianapolis, would we have ever heard of Austin Collie?
Yeah, no.
Not just no. Hell no. We wouldn't even know who the hell he was, regardless whatever team he went on. Great quarterbacks make names where you remember who the hell they are. And frankly, Phillip Rivers is not that guy. Phillip Rivers, I'll even put it out there, is not a Hall of Famer. I mean, if you think, and I do, Donovan McNabb is not a Hall of Famer, you can't think that Phillip Rivers
is. That's a very good point. And I believe Donovan McNabb is a Hall of Famer. So I'm going to put Phillip Rivers into the Hall of Fame, but not a first ballot. Not a first ballot. But not a first ballot. If I had to choose, that's really good. If I had to choose between Donovan and Phillip, I'm taking Donovan. Because Donovan, I believe, was more of a winner. Wow. Oh, yeah, Donovan was more of a winner. And he elevated a team that for years, Andy Reid was criticized for not getting him that number one receiver. He had them in the NFC Championship every single year for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
I don't think I away from Donovan. He was a tremendous quarterback.
To the Super Bowl. The Chargers never made it to the Super Bowl, so I'm probably with you on that. By the way, a little piece of tidbit, a nugget, if you will. For those that don't think Terrell Owens is a great wide receiver or he's the most selfish guy in the world, I want you all to know that in order for Terrell Owens to play in the Super Bowl, he had to sign a waiver holding the Philadelphia Eagles harmless if he got hurt in any way. Never mind just the injury that was keeping him out, but anyway, in order to play in that game. Now, I hate him. I can't stand it. I've met him before. I've had one-on-one with. I can't stand this guy. If he wouldn't beat the holy hell out of me, I'd probably slap the holy hell out of him. But here's the thing: that guy. For those that don't understand greatness and Terrell Owens is a great wide receiver. Okay, and guess what? The only way that they make it to the Super Bowl is if the quarterback can deliver the ball to them as well. So it does have a lot to do with what's going on. But as far as, and not only that, even after the time, take a look at this guy right now. This guy could play today. I'm telling you right now, if he knew the playbook and had everything, that guy could play today. That's how good and how great shape this guy is and has always been. So I'm telling folks that understand greatness. Now, if you want to bestow greatness on the average player just because they accomplish one stat, Frank Gore. Frank Gore.
Notice I didn't even get into that conversation.
Know the greatness of what you think that Frank Gore is. And I'm going to tell you right now, you would be wrong. I'm telling you right now. Now, and I know I am in the minority in this stance. Frank Gore is not a good running back. Okay, no, hold on. He's a good running back. Is he great? No. He isn't great. I got plenty of proof to prove it. And
How are you
put him in the Hall of Fame for one stat?
Let me ask you this then. How are you defining in this context with running back? What is great to you?
Okay. I think I can answer that question because Sonny knew that question, he was going to be bitch slapped with that question. Yeah. So Sonny was aware that was going to come on. I'm going to put up on the screen the exact thing of greatness. Okay. That is not in the Hall of Fame. Greatness. That is not in the Hall of Fame. That right there is greatness in the little time that he played. Now, I also want you to understand that Clinton Portis is in the Hall of Fame. Why? I don't know. We can argue that all day long. And Sean Alexander is not. So if Clinton Portis is in the Hall of Fame, why Sean Alexander is not? Now, take a look at those numbers and just, we could talk about the over 1,000 yards that Frank Gore had. And if you want to be exactly happy with that, you can. But I want you to look at where the red line is around. Those are not just 1,000 yards. Those are not just 1,200 yards. Those are years that are 1,175 or more in 5 straight years. I also want you to look at the number next to it and look at how many rushes that they had during that time. Over 300 average during that time. Look at the rushes on the other side. Don't even come close to 300. Now, granted, I define greatness on a different level. That means, this team's or whatever team he was playing on did not, let me repeat this, did not deem him that good that they had to get him the ball. Frank Gore has never been a guy where you go, Jesus, why are we not getting Frank Gore the ball? And not only that, look at the touchdowns for Frank Gore. All right, rushing the ball, touchdowns. Oh, did I cut it off? I did. My bad. I think I cut off the rushing touchdowns. I did.
Well, you cut off the rushing for Frank Gore. I see them for Sean Alexander.
Yeah, hold on. Let me just pop this and I'll go to Just Gore, and it's right here. All right, Just Gore touchdowns, 81. All right, now 81 touchdown. Go back to Sean Alexander. All right, look at that number. That's a 1 with 2 zeros on the end of it. All right, and he paid less than half of the time. He ran and touched the ball, rushing the ball over 300 times in almost, you count 295, I count 300. All right, so I'll count that as 300. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 straight years. 5 straight years also of 1,175 yards in the game. Now, receiving, look at the receiving side of it. 12 touchdowns on the receiving side, and I cut and it's 18 for Mr. Frank Gore, who played almost double the amount of Sean Alexander. All right, and then go to total yards. Total yards from scrimmage, 19,000. You look at Sean Alexander in half the time, over 10,000. Sean Alexander is not a Hall of Famer. Okay, what I'm showing you is there's no electricity, there's no spark, there's nobody worried about Frank Gore. Nobody. And listen, I know, I get it. Okay, you want to be bestowed in his greatness because he's number 3 on the rushing. When he can't carry the jock, let me just rephrase that, carry the jock of any Hall of Famer, any of them, being obviously looking at the different years and eras and blah, 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 none of them can he carry.
Oh, you didn't know?
But in case you didn't know,
call somebody!
It is the man, it is the myth, it is the fine co-host of this show that has been almost on for 12 years, Mr. Cuervo. Good morning, Cuervo. Nice to see you, my friend. Good to see you.
Happy New Year, Cuervo.
Hey, Happy New Year to you guys as well. How's everyone feeling?
I'm excited. I mean, I wanted to do your show on Friday. Couldn't do it because, and we are talking about, and we will get to the games. We are going to have to definitely room right back. By the way, you on Pittsburgh, by the way, Bryce?
Nope. I am in New York City. I'm in Brooklyn.
No. I mean, are you on your Pittsburgh Steelers today as they take on the Cleveland Browns?
You know what? Oh, I've gone back and forth on this.
Yes, you have.
I just said, you know what? Do it. I'm going to do it for Obie. I'm going with the Steelers today to complete the dream scenario. I cannot wait to 1 o'clock. Obie didn't think it could happen, Cuervo. I told him it was going to happen. We've got 3 players out from COVID. We're resting the backups. The Steelers will go into Cleveland with Mason Rudolph, and we still have the receivers, and we'll find a way to knock out the Cleveland Brownies, and Obie's head will explode on this show next week. You know what, though? Let me say this. I'm only going with my heart.
Yeah.
Most likely the Browns are going to win this game, but I'm not going with them. I don't trust them. I feel if Pittsburgh can keep this game tight somehow, Baker Mayfield will start to choke. And under the pressure of win and get in, I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think Mason Rudolph could come out. He's been told he can't play. He's been told he sucks. He's been told you're going to be gone after this year. This is his Super Bowl.
This is it.
The Steelers to act like the Washington football team and the Bengals did to us and do this to the Browns, who are ripe for the picking, yo. Yeah. This is going to happen. Just like my dream scenario. Obie right now is somewhere. You know why he didn't want to come on the show? Because of fear.
Fear. Fear of the COVID, by the way. He's got to go get a test because his daughter, excuses. I mean, that's what that, but we'll talk about that later.
I hope him and his family are safe.
Absolutely. And that's, that obviously takes precedent over it.
He can't see it coming, though. As soon as I brought it up, see, you have to know these AFC North teams.
Yes.
These fans. As soon as I brought it up, Sonny, you just saw a little thing in his eyes. He knew it could happen. As soon as I brought it up, he didn't think about it. Once I put the seed in,
it started to grow. He got more hair because of that.
As he knows the history of these teams, he's like, "Oh, that can't happen." And then he was like, "Can it?" And then he started to think about it. And now it is here. It is fully manifested. To be fully.
And not only that, you planted that all over all Cleveland Brown fans. They got out, and because
it will fully come to life at 4:30 when Mason Rudolph raises his hand in victory after knocking the Cleveland Browns out.
Did they move that to the afternoon game? I thought that was an early game.
No, 1 o'clock game.
Oh, okay. Early.
Yeah, at 4:30, he will raise his hand in victory after the Pittsburgh Steelers come into Cleveland and knock out the Browns. If the Browns win, here's another prediction. If the Browns win, it's because Baker Mayfield went off. He's going to have to.
He has.
He's going to have to because this Browns defense is ripe for the pick and do. They are not good. They do not have, other than Myles Garrett, they do. Olivier Vernon's a good player. They've got some good players. They have no, like you like to talk about, no elite players.
Yes.
There's no one elite on that Browns defense. And our offense will still have Claypool. It'll still have Deontay Johnson. It'll still have Connor. Say what you want to say. It'll still have Snell. It'll still have Vance McDonald. Mm-hmm. There's going to be some opportunities to score points against this defense.
Now, before we get into Frank Gore, I'm going to shoot it to Cuervo. We're talking Pittsburgh, Cleveland right now. I wanted to get that obviously out before we lost Bryce here today. When you're looking at this game, Cuervo, tell me what stands out to you as far as that. Now, the fact that Bryce did not say that Myles Garrett is an elite player. He kind of said because he said there was nobody on the defense.
No. I did mention Myles Garrett.
He is elite.
Absolutely.
Good. Okay, I misheard you, so that's good.
Good defensive line. Not great though.
But hold it. If he's not great, is he elite?
No. Meaning Myles Garrett is elite. They have a good defensive line. There's no other guys up there. Unjobi's a good run stopper. Richardson's really good. But I'm not saying that those guys are just going to wreak havoc all day.
Got it. So, Cuervo, looking at this game, this one here is for the marbles for the Cleveland Browns. They got to get this win, because there's nothing else that will get them in. So, their first chance of making the playoffs since what year? I forget what the year is. It's a stupid. It's many years. That being said, where are you looking at in this?
Well, I look at this one and I think about I don't know if status is the right word, but the history, the mindset of these two franchises. You have one of the Pittsburgh Steelers who has a tradition of winning, who has a tradition of being in the playoffs, being able to live in these type of moments. On the other hand, you have the Cleveland Browns. They're like the little kid that can finally get on the roller coaster rides that they've been trying to get on, ever since.
Oh, they're almost tall enough.
They're almost tall enough, exactly. So that's what the Cleveland Browns are right now. They're the little brother that's trying to hang out with Big Brother. And that's the way I look at this. Can Baker Mayfield, can the Cleveland Browns as an organization, because really it's not about just the players that's going to be on the field today for the Cleveland Browns. This is an organizational mindset. It's an emotion that this whole franchise is having. If they win this game today, they have a very good chance, or do they clinch? I don't know, one of the two. They clinch a wild card.
If they're in, if they win, they're basically in.
Yeah,
winning, they're in, and that's how it normally goes. But again, the thing is, the Cleveland Browns are not used to this scenario. So with that being said, are they going to be able to succumb to the pressure? And I wish you had a sound bite, Sonny, with that song, "Pressure Pushing Down on Me." Pushing down on
that
me.
would be good.
That's what the Cleveland Browns. That's what it's all about for them today. Can they handle the pressure of not just winning a football game, but it's week 17. You have a chance to go to the playoffs. You got to beat Big Brother. That's the only way you're getting in. You have to beat Big Brother.
Yep.
Can they get it done? Now, with that being said, Sonny, I know you're going to be all over this tomorrow if Cleveland loses this game. I don't want to hear you bashing Baker Mayfield just because he loses one game.
Well, hold on. I've been consistent on bashing him all year long, okay? All right, so it's not like this is a newfound thing here as far as Baker Mayfield is concerned. So I've been on him all year. Oh, we just lost Bryce, so hopefully we'll get him back. If not, hopefully he has a great week. But by the way, there he is. He's back. We got him back. Good. All right, so we did get you back there. But as far as one game is concerned, no. When you talk about one game, it is about one game, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. Now, obviously understanding that Sonny Clark is so old school that it's unbelievable. Because I am. I'm old school. Because I compare greatness to certain scenarios and things. Now, I will give Baker Mayfield some credit, which I can't believe that I'm going to do in reality. I know. During the season, the last 5 weeks, take away from last week. Last week was a bad loss. I mean, they win, they're in. I mean, that was stupid. And that was who they play last week, by the way. It was a team they probably should have beat, Cleveland.
The Jets, I think. They lost to the Jets, didn't they?
Yeah, they played the freaking Jets, okay? First of all, that's a horrible loss, okay? That's a horrible loss. Mm-hmm. And I told you about the conspiracy about that. I'm telling you right now. I knew about that, and I knew they were going to win. It's the reason why I picked the Jets. Now, outside of that, that's just a horrible loss for this football team. Okay, but the weeks before that, they were playing in games that if he's going to put on his big boy pants, he is going to win these games. Now, he did that throughout week 15, 14, and 13. Week 15, Cleveland was where Cleveland had New York. Now, they need to win that game. I mean, if you're going to be a good football player and a good football team, you need to beat the Giants, even though it's on the road, and they did, by the way, just to let everybody know. Then Cleveland, the week before that, who did they have? Cleveland. Why can't I find it? Did they have that last bye in week 14?
No, I think all the buys are done after 13.
Well, they lost to Baltimore. That's not a bad loss per se. It's a division game. That's not a bad loss. The week before that, all right, and then that would be the last time I go that far back. Maybe they did have the bye in week 13. I think Cleveland played Tennessee and they beat Tennessee. All right, so he put on his big boy pants. And listen, out of all of those things, when you think about a good quarterback, he needs to lead his team. And he did. And by the way, they were in that Baltimore game. Should have won that game, by the way. So those are two games. The Baltimore game, in reality, if they could have pulled that off, and then the freaking Jets, for God's sakes, you don't lose against the Jets, especially with a playoff game online. So that's why it's hard to look at this game that they're about ready to play, okay, and say, listen, they're unbeatable today. Oh, no. Even with Mason Rudolph, who's going to start at the quarterback position, mainly just because they're going to rest one Big Ben, I'm going to tell you straight out, this is going to be the game of the week right here. This Pittsburgh-Cleveland is the marquee game of the week. And the reason being is just what you said right there, Cuervo. It's big brother little brother trying to get over the mountain and beating big brother in reality. I think you're absolutely right. There's pressure all over there. You got me under pressure. Yes. Under pressure. I'll get that and I'll add that to the list. But that's exactly what this is. If the Cleveland Browns are going to be a good football team, this is the game they have to win. When you are the guy that's supposed to be the marquee guy, which in reality, that's what Baker Mayfield is. He was the number one draft freaking pick. This guy needs to come and do what he needs to do. I mean, look at Lamar Jackson's getting all kinds of crap because he can't win a freaking playoff game. Now, when you are the Cleveland Browns and you win many games during the regular season, you need to go in and show that you are that stud. You need to show that you are the number one pick. And I don't know if he's capable of doing it in reality. So much so, I'm going Pittsburgh in this game. And it's not even necessarily, the thing. At the home field, they'll have people in the crowd. And I'm just waiting to pan the crowd of disappointment that's going to be happening in that game in reality at the end of it, because Mason Rudolph Bryce admitted it or said it. This is his Super Bowl. He needs to get in there and win this game. Not only he's got a lot to prove up on top of a lot of things, obviously, as last year, week 17, same matchup, and we all know what happened in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So, I'm sitting here talking about Cleveland being under pressure, and you just brought it to light, Sonny, that it's been happening for the past couple of weeks now. And what has Cleveland shown? They can't handle it.
Yep.
They can't handle the pressure.
Yeah, interestingly enough, now, Cuervo, I'm going to have you do me a favor. I'm going to have you hop off, completely close down your browser. Don't open up another window. Completely close down your browser. Reopen it because we got a connection problem with your audio. We have the boss. And so go ahead and bounce out of there. We'll be right back. And we also got Bryce back as well. The boss, DC Dennis Clark, good morning. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing wonderful.
Happy New Year to the boss.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Now, I don't know how you do it. I know you're using your Apple. I don't know if you can get in there. We can hardly hear you. We're having we can hear you, just not as good as we think that we should. Anyway, but there it is. Oh, sure. Bring it closer to that Jabba the Hutt face. Thank you so much for scaring the children. But but it is what it is. Pittsburgh and Cleveland, I know your pick because I got it written down. Let everybody know what you think about this game. Obviously, no Big Ben, just to let you know. It's not because of COVID. They're just resting Big Ben. So that being said, you might want to change your pick. I don't know.
I wouldn't change my pick.
All right. So
remember the last time I changed my pick?
Yes, you did. The Detroit Lions.
And no, thank you. I'm gonna adjust my. I win because I trust my judgment, and I let you talk me out of it, and that ain't happening no more.
I'm pretty good at talking them out of that. So that being said, Bryce, always good to see you. Now, let's just take a step back because when we do that, I'll bring in Cuervo and talk about it. But let's back up to what we were talking about before Cuervo came in, and let's back this up to Frank Gore. All right, and I had and if you need the visuals, I'll put those up.
No, I got him.
So that being said, talk to me about Frank Gore and your belief that he is either A Hall of Famer, B, maybe a Hall of Famer, or C, no Hall of Famer.
Well, before I do that, I do want to mention one thing. Pittsburgh got some bad losses moving to the playoffs. Ebron, Hayden will be on the COVID list. They will not play. I know they won't. They most likely will not play in that playoff game. Those are big losses.
That's a big loss.
Man, that's a big loss. Particularly losing Joe Hayden is a big, big loss. So, we're going to see. Yeah, so we're going to see. We'll see who they're matched up against. If it's a team like the Ravens, you want Joe Hayden for run support because Justin Lane is not a great tackler as a backup.
Yep.
Cam Sutton is a good tackler, so that's good as a backup as well. But, yeah, that's a big loss. And losing Ebron, you lose a lot of versatility as well. So,
definitely.
In terms of Frank Gore and Sean Alexander, I think people will continue to make cases for them to be in the Hall of Fame. And I'm going to say they get in, it's going to take a long time.
I use
you don't have to be like
Brown.
You don't have to be Jim Brown and Walter Payton to make the Hall of Fame. Greatness can be defined a little bit. In certain cases, Sonny, it can be defined a little bit wider. Like the fact that Frank Gore has played so long and been so productive and he has, like Sonny, the numbers in and of themselves are not just empty numbers, particularly for his position. Excuse me. For someone to be in his position, play running back as long as he has, and still be able to come out and produce on an NFL level, like sometimes your availability is one of your best abilities.
Absolutely. And by the way, durability, I'm never going to question Frank Gore because you don't play. Listen, understand that the average running back career is 3.5 to 4 years. Okay, so in reality, if you look at it, if he plays next year, he played 4 times than most of the average. So
that, and I think that ties into Frank Gore being an elite athlete, not in terms of running, jumping, catching, what have you, but all of those intangibles that he brings, I think, represent what the Hall of Fame is supposed to be about. Other than
okay. Let me ask you this question. and I know I'm wrong in this, but I'm going to ask you the question. It's one thing to be durable. It's one thing to be, I guess, dependable. But if you're not all that good, I mean, what good is that?
That's the difference. Like, I actually think Frank Gore.
When I look at the Hall of Fame, I look at what listen. You can make it. Listen, the kickers make it all day long. Okay, they last years and years and years and years and years. There's 2 kickers in the Hall of Fame. There's a reason why. Okay, because just because they last long doesn't mean that they're productive or good enough to be in the Hall of Fame. But look, now obviously the kicker is a much different position. No one gives a rip about kickers. Hell, I don't even give the rip about the kickers. But I will tell you right now, good to see you, G Money. By the way, we're on Twitch. We're on YouTube as well. Cuervo's, I'm sure. And then, of course, we have the 49. And here we go. And always thankful for what he did. But back in April, I was talking about this, and Tom made this point on the show. I went back and watched the show because we did this before all the talk was about Frank Gore being in the Hall of Fame, getting closer. And we talked about this. And one thing that Tom said, which makes a lot of sense, a lot of yards don't mean touchdowns. A lot of yards doesn't mean you're worried about a guy. And, so when I think about the Hall of Fame, I think about guys that make plays. I think about guys that are so valuable. You look at Frank Gore, he wasn't even the MVP on his own teams. So, so how even the teams not necessarily didn't think he was great, but not enough for MVP status on their own freaking team.
But that's what I'm talking about. Like, Frank Gore is not elite in that sense, first ballot, second ballot, but I do believe 15 years down the road, 20 years down the road, we're going to look back at Frank Gore. We're going to look at his career, and we're going to talk about, even though he wasn't an elite running back, his ability to come play and be so productive year in and year out at that position, and be a guy that individually, quietly, he wasn't as loud as Jim Brown, he wasn't as loud as Walter Payton, amassed the career that he amassed. He, along with Sean Alexander, because of Sean Alexander's short period of time, he was so explosive. One day, I think both of those guys get into the Hall of Fame.
Who gets in first?
But it's going to take a while.
Who gets in first? Sean Alexander?
I think because he played longer, Frank Gore will.
And that is my point. I'm so glad that you came on, because I think that's my point. Okay, we're looking at one number that gets this guy into the Hall of Fame. One number. That one number is a damn good number. Don't get me wrong. See, people think that I don't think Frank Gore is a good running back. He's a good running back. He's not great. He's never been great. He's been average, maybe a little bit better than average.
But I think that's where people might get on you, because I don't believe Frank Gore is average. I believe Frank Gore is very good.
See, but
being very good,
1,000-yard rushers, though. That's my criteria. I'm horrible at this, and I know I'm old school. So understand that I know I'm old school. But 1,000 yards rushing means absolutely nothing. You know what 1,000 yards rushing equals up to? I think it's 60 yards a game. To me, that doesn't do anything for me. Okay, that's a guy that shows up. That's a guy that stands out, goes out there, and kicks major ass. Look at Sean Alexander's numbers.
Right. But here's the thing, Sonny. For a running back, 1,000 yards over. I mean, and some he didn't have 1,000, and some he didn't have 1,000 yards. But 1,000 yards pretty much consistently for 13 years, Sonny, that counts for something. Like at the running back position, like that's what's ultimately like that right there in and of itself, Sonny, is elite in a certain way. It's not elite athletically, but it speaks to his athleticism, and it speaks to his intangibles. It speaks to his ability to come, his ability to perform on the NFL stage, which is the toughest stage. I mean, and Sonny, because of that, the numbers begin to reflect that. 16,000 yards, like that is historic, because he's been able to show up and play at a level that has been consistent. That matters. So and I believe ultimately that's going to get him into the Hall of Fame.
I think, I think I'm okay with that and what you're talking about. I think I'm all right with that. But when I think of greatness, I think of guys that you want.
Right.
I want this guy. Okay. So Sean Alexander and Frank Gore, who do you want?
I can only pick one.
Right. Who do you want? Do you want Frank Gore or do you want Sean?
I think it all depends. I think it all depends on the type of offense I'm running.
Okay.
To be honest with you, I think it all depends.
Big picture of what the career was all about. And so,
if I'm going to look at the big picture and just look at overall, okay, I'm looking at the big picture. I look at these two guys. Which guy did I want? I'm actually going to say I'm going to take Frank Gore. I know this guy's going to show up. I know what he's going to give me. I know I can build around it. I know he's going to be good in these areas. And so therefore that matters to me.
See, you're a longevity kind of guy, more so.
Longevity. If I know I'm going to get, in this case, I know I'm going to get that position. I do believe Sean Alexander was the better athlete, the more athletic player. So if you're like, okay, give me one game where a guy needs to be dynamic, Sean Alexander.
And I think that's my point because that's how I define greatness and when I look at it. Now, that being said,
and I believe they're both going to get into the Hall of Fame, Sonny. Sean Alexander will get there one day, but because it's such a shorter window, it's going to take him longer. I think Frank Gore not being as dynamic.
Let me ask you before I jump into it, and I'll bring in Cuervo back here. Clinton Portis in the Hall of Fame is to me is laughable. Now I don't have his number, but Clinton Portis in the Hall of Fame is laughable. He's not even close to Sean Alexander, by the way. Just to let everybody know. So I don't understand why Clinton Portis is in the freaking. Well, I do. It's Super Bowls. There's another thing, but that being said, now Cuervo, let me hear you talk. Frank Gore. Who would you rather have? Would you rather have Sean Alexander or Frank Gore?
Walter Payton.
See, that's another one. You can't. Yeah, Walter Payton, the best of all time, and I don't care how many yards Emmitt Smith got behind that great big offensive line.
That's why I love you for life, Sonny. That's why I'm going to love you for life, my friend.
That's right. Don't matter. Could you imagine if Walter Payton had that offensive line that the Dallas Cowboys did? No one would catch him. He'd beat Jerry Rice numbers. No one would catch him.
Yeah.
So, but
Clinton Portis is a nominee. He's not in the Hall.
Here we go.
Who's the one that Denver running back that just went in? That's
Terrell Davis.
Huh?
Terrell Davis.
That's it. I'm sorry, I got the wrong one. But same thing because you look.
And that helps. Like Terrell Davis was great. He was the engine to championship teams. He put up big numbers. So that's going to help him. That's going to help him. Oh, okay. Sonny, before I get off, I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
Frank Gore adds a Super Bowl ring to that resume. Is he a Hall of Famer in your eyes then?
Probably not.
Oh, okay.
And I say that with no disrespect. And it would all depend upon what he did in those games. Now,
okay.
Look at what you can sit there and define greatness. If you think Walter Payton not being in the Hall of Fame without a Super Bowl ring, you would have been crazy. That guy is going to get it.
Yes.
That guy's going to get in there. Now, compared to here, in order for him to make it, I would have to really think that he'd need a Super Bowl ring to get him in. And I don't necessarily want to think that about the greats. I want to think of Dan Marino. If you don't have a ring, you bring something. Bring something to me on a regular basis, okay? I mean, Dan Marino was throwing the ball like you wouldn't freaking believe, okay? Right. All right, so wide receivers, look at the wide receivers that don't have Super Bowl rings that are in. One, Terrell Owens, that guy was super bad. You can say whatever you want. Even Randy Moss to a certain extent, I would think, but I don't know if I don't know if he's Hall of Fame material or not. But that's another story within itself. But go ahead, Cuervo.
Oh, I was just campaigning for Randy Moss, number one.
All right, so
Get that screenshot. Get that screenshot of Bryce.
all right,
It's too late.
Before I get off, let me ask Cuervo one question. Since we're talking about the Browns, do the Bears rise up, win a game, and get to the playoffs?
Let me tell you something. I don't think Green Bay really cares about it. They've solidified their spot.
Whoa. Yeah, maybe so. And I want to.
I don't know about that, Cuervo. They haven't locked up the number 1 seed yet.
And here it is: New Orleans. In order for them, if New Orleans wins, Green Bay loses, and Seattle wins. By the way, Seattle has San Francisco. Then the New Orleans Saints will get that number 1 pick, or that number 1 slot, and bye. So this is an important.
Cuervo, you're gonna have to go out and earn this one.
They are worried about it.
This is for Matt Nagy's job right here.
Well, I guess we're getting a new head coach next year, then, aren't we?
I'm gonna say this. It's depending on where the Bears are and what they do in the draft. Okay, I don't know if Matt Nagy is going to lose his job. I don't know, and that just all depends. Because I'm going to tell you right now. Old Sonny had no problem pulling out the fork and sticking in the Chicago Bears when they were having that problem with.
Yeah, you didn't. Yeah, no problem at all.
Which, by the way, not only that, I stabbed the shit out of them. But when they made the switch back to and listen, I'm not saying Mitchell Trubisky is a great quarterback, but it was the right move because of the relationship of what Matt Nagy could get to Mitchell Trubisky. Unlike Nick Foles is saying, listen, I'm a Super Bowl quarterback. Don't give me this crap. This is the way it needs to be done. And that was the roadblock. That was the roadblock for the Bears in reality. Now, they took down the roadblock, brought him in. They got it. Now, I don't know. Will they win today? It's going to be a great story if they win, because I think that is a great story if they do that and able to get them from coming back off the respirator, for God's sake, in reality, and make the playoffs.
Yeah, holy guys, I got to head out, guys, but. Cuervo, I'm gonna be thinking about you when this game is on. This is gonna be great, man.
It's gonna be good.
Appreciate it, Bryce. I'll be thinking of you too when the Steelers are on.
All right. Peace out, my brother.
Happy New Year.
Definitely. Oh man, he did. Could you imagine if we could get him for the full 3 hours? I mean, it's unbelievable. But by the way, here is the schedule for today. And some of the things that we are talking about. I do want to get back to the Bears, though, or the Super Bowl talking, or not Super Bowl, but Hall of Fame talk of Frank Gore. You threatened it, and we set it up for you, and so go with it, Cuervo. What do you think about Frank Gore? And now. Also, let me go on record. Frank Gore is going to get in the Hall of Fame. Okay, I know this just because I know the way people vote. I just don't think he should be in there. So that's just a personal opinion. Cuervo, what do you think about Frank Gore and the Hall of Fame?
Okay, Sonny, here we go. So I'm gonna start off by saying this. I'm gonna open it up with this. The definition. So, what's the key word when we mention the Hall of Fame? What is the key word in that phrase, in your opinion?
Great.
Fame. That's the key word. Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Now, the definition of fame is the state of being known or talked about by many people, especially on account of notable achievements. Okay, so when we're talking about guys in the Hall of Fame, we're talking about guys that are widely known around the league,
okay,
with notable achievements. Now, notable. Now, you can't erase history. Frank Gore, as of right now, is the number 3 all-time rushing leader in yards.
Okay.
Can't deny that.
Can't.
And
I'm not going to.
Now, where is he on the all-time rushing touchdown list?
Good point.
Number 19. He's number 19 all-time. We can debate whether that's worthy or not of the word fame, of notable achievements, right?
Yeah, all right.
So when I think of Frank Gore, it's like you guys said. You know, he's been very durable throughout his career.
Absolutely.
He has big numbers. So I thought about it, and if I wanted to compare him to somebody in another sport, let's say baseball.
Okay. All right. And I did not do that, so that this will be interesting. Go ahead.
I would compare him to Ichiro. And the reason I compare him to Ichiro is because this is a guy that was very durable in his career. And what was he known for? Ton of hits. He had a lot of hits. He's on the all-time hit list, and that's great. Good for him. Okay. Now, when we talk about Hall of Fame guys, you're talking about, and you alluded to it a little bit, Sonny. Mm-hmm. You're talking about guys that made impacts in their career. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you something right now. If I YouTubed a Frank Gore highlight reel, I'd probably fall asleep. I'm not even going to lie. I'd be like, oh, it's nap time. Oh, Frank Gore highlights are on. It's nap time.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm sorry. It is what it is. That's my opinion on it. That's my take on it. On top of that, you look at high school running, kids playing football in high school and college right now. Uh-huh. Name one guy that says, I want to be the next Frank Gore.
I knew I loved this guy for a reason. I love this guy for a reason. Continue on with your wisdom, my fine co-host.
Nobody wants to be the next Frank Gore, Sonny. I'm sorry, and this is no disrespect. And look, again, he's the all-time number 3 rushing yards leader. You can't take that away from him. And I don't care if he had 5 rings. Well, maybe that might make a difference. But the fact is, he has 0. But guess what? So does LaDainian Tomlinson, and I don't believe Eric Dickerson ever won a championship either. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't believe
I'll look that up.
I don't think Eric Dickerson ever won a Super Bowl ring. So you're talking about 2 guys that are right there with them. However, the difference is when you look at the impact and the highlights of those guys, they took your breath away. Mm-hmm. Eric Dickerson, you're talking about one of the greatest combinations of speed and strength, just like a Bo Jackson, just like Earl Campbell, which that's a guy that a lot of people forget about is Earl Campbell. He's a great running back.
I didn't forget. The only difference between Earl Campbell and Frank Gore, Earl Campbell literally had 0 receiving touchdowns. Literally 0. They did not use Earl Campbell in the flats. They did not throw to him. This guy ran the football. And in fact, I got to hear. I'll bring that up. But I'm glad you mentioned his name because I actually have him on guys that you think about greatness and impact. That is probably the most important word when you think about it. Impact. And then when kids grow up, they say, "Oh, I want to be Frank Gore," or do they want to be Eric Dickerson? What a great point! I want to be Walter Payton. I want to be Gil Sayers. I want to be these guys. I want to be Barry Sanders. I want to be, and they
Adrian Peterson.
Want to be great. And I'm sorry, when you think about that, I'm right there with you, Cuervo. I do not think of that guy at all as being great. I just don't.
Now I agree with you. Will he eventually make it in? Yes, he will.
He's going to make it in.
He's not going to be first, second, third, fourth, fifth ballot. It's going to take him a while. It's going to take him a while to get in, but that's
look
that's
at this. Just look at what's on your screen right there. Okay, Marshall Faulk, Barry Sanders. These are guys kids want to be. It's such a great, and it's so elementary that its impact of what you said is it solidifies. Listen, I don't want to disrespect Frank Gore, okay? But I also don't want to disrespect the Hall and the guys that are in there, okay? Look at these numbers that are there. Look at Barry Sanders. Every single year over 1,000 yards. His least was 1,100. Okay? That's impact. Look at how many times he touched the ball out of those years. Okay? Over 300. We talked about over 300 touches kills running backs. These guys did it on a consistent level. Now, Marshall Faulk, on the other hand, when you look at him, okay, he didn't do it, but look at the impact of touchdowns. Look at the impact on the receiving yards, the impact of getting in the end zone. And I go back to what I was talking about all day long. And listen, no one worried about Frank Gore when he played. I'm sorry, and I'll put it back up. Just Gore. Here it is. Just Gore. Even in his years when he was actually kind of kicking it. His second year, 1,600 yards. Congratulations. Outside of that, when has he got over 1,200 yards? Okay, and I'll stand by it all day long. Okay, I'm not a believer on 1,000 yards. It means nothing to me. Okay, it really means absolutely nothing to me. And especially if you're not an impact player. Such a great point. You need to be an impact player if you're going to be Frank Gore to make the Hall of Fame. Now, it's just my opinion, but 80 touchdowns compared. Let's just go to Marshall Faulk. How many touchdowns he had rushing? Over 20, and he didn't even play as many years as Frank Gore did. Okay, and the receiving touchdowns are so much more. Didn't play anywhere close to what it was. I mean, these are great. These are numbers that are great. Sean Alexander, in my opinion, would deserve to be more in the Hall of Fame before Frank Gore because he did it on a not one, not two, not three, not but 4 freaking seasons. This guy went out and just tore it up, and you feared Sean Alexander big time. 100 touchdowns, but and the receiving touchdowns, he had 12. He had 112 in his career in about half the time. Mm-hmm. So I think you're right, and that's exactly and I said it before. I'll say it again. I look at greatness on a totally different level. Now, obviously, we look at it on Walter Payton. We look at two of the biggest Bears names in history, Gale Sayers and Walter Payton. Impact players, guys that went out week in, week out and said, holy crap, we're playing Gale Sayers. Holy crap, we are playing Walter Payton. Holy crap, even to a certain extent, we got to play Emmitt Smith. These guys made a difference. I know. It makes me want to puke too. I'm right there with you. All right, but Frank Gore, again, I love it. I love it.
And here's some other points I have, Sonny. Some other guys that don't have rings. I mentioned Tomlinson, Eric Dickerson. Mm-hmm. You mentioned it too. Adrian, and I know you're not a big fan of Adrian Peterson.
No, but he deserves it before he does because of the impact that he brought.
And by the way, Adrian Peterson still holds the record for most rushing yards in a single game, and he did it as a rookie. A lot of people forgot that.
Yep,
he did that as a rookie. Most rushing yards in a single game, beat the great Walter Payton's record. Okay, that's the type of impact Adrian Peterson has. He doesn't have a ring. He's never even sniffed a ring, thanks to Brett Favre. And then, of course, I mean, the king of running backs with no rings, Barry Sanders. I mean, to me, Barry Sanders is number 2 all time. He's the second greatest all-time running back.
Because of dynamics. You're right. Because of dynamics. And that guy played only 8 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Like 9 years, yeah.
I can put it back up here to Sanders right here. Well, and not only that, look at how many games he played. He was only one time hurt, and that was in 1993. He played 11 games. But look at the numbers in 11 games. For God's sake, in 11 games, he gets 1,000 yards. See, and that's how you define greatness. Guy gets 1,000 yards, and he only played in 11 games. What an impact that this guy had while he played. Unbelievable stuff. So that's what it is. I compare greatness to totally different numbers. And those kind of numbers are – and listen, again, I don't want to take away or, try to disrespect Frank Gore, but I don't want to disrespect the Hall either, because there are a lot of people in reality that are deserving to be there and are not. And one is Sean Alexander. Sean Alexander needs to be in the freaking Hall of Fame. And based upon, again, if Terrell Davis can be in the Hall of Fame, Sean Alexander needs to be there. The problem is that Terrell Davis has a couple of Super Bowl rings. That's the only reason why. But again, during those years and those Super Bowl, he was kind of impactful. So that's but I don't think he deserves to be there just because he has 2 Super Bowl rings. I don't think he should be in there, because even though Terrell Davis was great, I would want more production. I would want more years from him in reality. So interestingly enough.
I got one last point, Sonny, and I think this will probably put the nail in the coffin on this whole Frank Gore talk about first ballot, second ballot Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at the all-time rushing leaders, touchdowns, yards, or whatever. Obviously we see the names like, Emmitt Smith and all, but what do all those guys that we're talking about that made an impact have in common compared to Frank Gore? And I'm talking Emmitt Smith, LaDainian Tomlinson, Adrian Peterson, Walter Payton, hell, Jim Brown, that's a guy we haven't even mentioned yet. Marshall Faulk, Sean Alexander, Barry, Eric Dickerson. What do all those guys have in common that you can't say about Frank Gore? Now, it's an opinionated question, but if you think back, what's the one thing about all those guys that you can say that you can't say about Frank Gore? The answer to that is, not one time did I ever hear or have I ever heard in Frank Gore's career that he's the best running back in the game right now.
Exactly.
Sean Alexander, you can even say was at one point.
Okay. And I even have that in front of me because I knew that was going to be a way to go. Now, and this is because he was a good running back. Not great. Good. This is because he was good. In the rankings, he at the highest ranking of the season, he was 5th. And he was 5th twice. Okay? Then he had an 8th, a 7th, an 8th, and a 9th. Outside of that, he's on the outside of the 10. So in reality, and that's where I go back to empty yards. I'm sorry, a lot of these are empty yards. These yards are nothing. And remember the teams that he played on, the San Francisco 49ers. Okay, they were no good, including Frank Gore, except for the 1 year that he went off and he had a great year. The San Francisco 49ers were not a good football team. All right. He spent a lot of years there. Then he went to Indianapolis to play second fiddle to Edgerrin James. Okay, and when Edgerrin's moved on, he kind of moved in there for a little bit. Then he went to Miami, then Buffalo, and then the Jets. Okay, from those times, you're not talking about postseason for this guy either. And what did and it's even the talk outside of that. What did this guy ever do in the postseason when he got there? The few times that he did that make you think that holy crap, he didn't. Again, you want to put him in for the Hall of Fame for one step, you can go ahead and do so. If you want to call that one stat, great, because of the longevity and because he could take care of his body and be there, wonderful. But that's almost saying that, to me, it's like saying, well, an average guy play, and we can do this in basketball. An average player that sits there and plays for many, 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 many years, but doesn't win a championship in basketball or baseball or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I think there's a little bit there as far as that is concerned. I'm glad you worded it the way you did, because it just solidified the reason why I don't think he should be. Now, again, I think he's going to get in. But I don't think it's going to be first, second, third. Hey, if Tim Brown, it takes 7 chances for Tim Brown to get into the Hall of Fame. I mean, Frank Gore, Tim Brown at the time was number 3 all-time receiving at the time when he first became available, and that guy couldn't get in for 6 years, okay? He's number 2, along with the names that are there. But if you can go down the list of the NFL greats, okay, and say, I'd rather have Frank Gore than – and I'll just throw some names that I don't think that are fantastic, but let me ask you, would you rather have Frank Gore or Fred Taylor? That we can argue about. But the 16 names before that on the list of guys that he passed: Thurman Thomas, Franco Harris, Marcus Allen, Edgerrin James, maybe, Marshall Faulk, Jim Brown, Tony Dorsett, Eric Dickerson, Jerome Bettis, LaDainian Tomlinson, Curtis Martin, Adrian Peterson, Barry Sanders, and I could go. Would you rather have Frank Gore than these guys? And yes, that's how I compare greatness, where I'm going to say, no, I'd rather have Frank Gore.
There might be one guy that you just mentioned that I would take Frank Gore over. It's just a personal opinion, because I've never been a fan of him, and I know Bryce is going to hate me for this. I was never a fan of Jerome Bettis. I just never was. I was never a fan of the bus.
But you understand the impact that guy made, because he was an impact player. There's no
and that's why I kind of
feel that
go back and forth with that.
Shut your mouth.
I was never a big fan of Jerome the Bus.
You do know, by the way, when you make a statement like that you will get Bryce to.
How dare you say such a thing? That is insanity.
or the
blasphemy. The blasphemy.
But
in fact, I'm gonna message him right now. I want to get him fired up.
And listen, I think Jerome Bettis is a Hall of Famer, but I get what you're saying. I don't necessarily agree with that one. But all those names I mentioned, as far as greatness, the impact, I want to grow up to be Frank Gore. No kid has ever said that. Not one. I'd be willing
his son,
his own kid, if he had, or a family member. I want to be Frank. But anybody else is not saying I want to be Frank. That perfect. Oh, great talk. And and by the way, Cuervo, thanks for proving me right to my brother, not DC Dennis Clark, but to one Fred Clark. That's out there. So it is what that is. I got Cuervo, you're bad.
Let's see what happens, guys.
All right. Now, we're at 10. I know I'm going to die too. Now, we're at 10:29. That means we got an hour and a half to get through all these games. That means we're going to have to go rapid fire in reality, because we just cannot do it. Although,
every team is playing today.
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them.
16 games.
Yes,
16 games.
There's really only 4 that have no playoff implications at all. So, those won't be hard to go. Now, before we jump into that, tomorrow, what is your schedule? I tentatively just set up a show for Monday. Of course, it's Black Monday, and I have made myself available at 1:30 my time. Is that a good time for you, if you are even able to join us? for that.
1:30 your time?
My time, which would be 11:30 your time. Do we need to change it?
No, that would work for me, Sonny. It is a work day for me. However, that is my lunch break. So
you can steal out. I appreciate that. That's good. So we're going to be on air. It's going to be Black Monday. It's a yearly tradition here on the South Coast, is like the NFL draft. We talk about guys that have.
By the way, Sonny, I got a nice juicy piece of news for you. I'm going to wait till the end because you mentioned Black Monday.
It's not breaking news. It's just a tidbit of something.
Well, I will say this. It involves your Jacksonville Jaguars, but we're going to save it for the end of the show.
They sold the franchise.
Oh, that was terrible. Crazy knucklehead is terrible.
Terrible. Oh, yes. Hey, Tom, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. Joining us. And by the way, back in April, I was on air talking about Frank Garrett before he got all his yards that he got this year to move him up to that spot. I was already talking about Frank Garrett's not a Hall of Famer back in April before the season started. And by the way, what has Frank Gore done? Did we worry about him at any point? Well, of course, it's the Jets. No! Anyway, but it is. All right, so that's going to bring us into the game. Let's talk about them. We're gonna just rock through them. Here we go. The first game up on board is probably one of those marquee games because there's a lot to go on in it. It's the Miami Dolphins. They take on the Buffalo Bills. Now, that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. When you take a look at the things that are going on as far as the scenarios are concerned for this game, as far as Baltimore is, or not Buffalo is concerned. Let me get to that number. I'm at Miami. So for playoff things, Miami has to win. If he wins, they get in. Or if Baltimore loses, they get in. If Cleveland loses, they get in. If Indianapolis gets in or loses, they're in. Okay, I'm not going to go through the tie scenarios, okay? I'm just not going to do it because there's 4 tie scenarios for the Miami Dolphins to make it into the playoffs, all right? So we already know Buffalo is not going to win the top spot. So that being said, Miami needs this game in reality. Control your own destiny. That's always what everybody talks about, you know? So in reality, so Miami needs to do that, and if they lose, they need help. But this game here, Buffalo does not need this game, Cuervo. They're going to be right where they are. There's not, and if it changes, it's no big deal. You know, it is what it is in reality. So that being said, Cuervo, when you're looking at this game, what stands out to you most and the reason why you will pick the team that you pick?
I mean, you know, when it comes to Week 17, guys, I always look at the scenarios and I look at, you know, how bad does a team need to win? You know, and for the Buffalo Bills, like, yeah, I mean, there are a couple of benefits to actually going out and trying to win this game, but we all know how teams approach Week 17 sometimes, where they want to sit certain guys. They don't really care about winning. It's not going to impact their playoff position. Buffalo's already clinched the division, so they're in whether they win or they get beat 50-0 today. It's not going to matter. But what I look at is, you know, is there any motivation at all? Maybe they want to make sure that no division rivals get in, and Miami's the only threat to get in the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just about, we don't want Miami to get in. We want to be the only AFC East team that makes the playoffs. So if it's that important to them, then Buffalo's going to go out and try to win this game.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to happen. And that's just keeping it real. I mean, listen, right now, when you look at Buffalo, they haven't been in this position for years and years and years, okay? So right now, they don't want to blow it. I don't even know. Is Allen going to start? And if he does, this is dumb. This is not the thing to do. We talk about this year in, year out in Week 17, Cuervo, where you have your valuable guys in Week 17 in a non-playing game. They're out there, you know, and they're not just playing. They're playing hard and running the risk of injury. This is a horrible game for them. Although Buffalo, you want to go in winning and wanting to win and wanting to win. I don't think they should go in with that mentality. They need to look at this as a freaking scrimmage, okay, and go in there and do some things with your backups so that the backups can be ready to go in if they need to. Buffalo has no interest in this game. That's the reason why I don't think Buffalo's going to win the game. I'm going on the other side. And listen, it makes me want to puke. Okay, all right, but it will prove my point. If Miami loses this game with Tua, as Ryan Fitzpatrick is out because of COVID-19, he's not going to start this game. It will be Tua. The world is on his shoulders. So, in reality, he's lucky that they have nothing to lose in reality. So that's the reason why I'm going to go Miami. Because if this was balls to the wall, straight up game, week 15, week 14, I'm going all day Buffalo. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick my neck out on the line. I'm going to go with Miami. Who are you going to go with, Cuervo?
Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with Miami as well, Sonny. Just because I think, again, Buffalo's it's always those teams that are getting in for the first time in a while that get conservative. I can see McDermott sitting Josh Allen after the first quarter or something like that. Kind of treating this game like a preseason game. So yes. I think the Dolphins will find a way to sneak this game win and they'll give themselves the best chance to get in.
DC.
I think that this is a no-brainer for me. I'm going with the Bills.
Yeah, going with the Bills, and it will. It'll be all about whether or not all the starters are going to be in on this one, and they'll go in and they'll go, fairly serious about it. So that's going to take us to the next game here on the couch. Brings us to Baltimore and Cincinnati. Now, Baltimore, their situation is a little bit different as far as where they are. So looking at the Baltimore Ravens, if Baltimore wins, they get in. But if Cleveland loses or Indianapolis loses, they're going to get in. And then there's ties. I don't want to go with ties. If that happens, then it's going to throw a major monkey wrench and everything. But that's Baltimore in a nutshell. So that means we're going to get Baltimore playing balls to the wall, ready to rock and roll against the Cincinnati Bengals team that doesn't have a quarterback and has nothing to lose. Now, could that be in their advantage that they have nothing to lose? Of course. They went out. They had nothing to lose. Beat a couple teams they had no business beating without their Joe Burrows. So that being said, Cuervo, looking at this game, what do you think about this one?
Well, I mean, Baltimore needs this game. So I think they're going to go out there. Everybody's going to play. You'll see Lamar Jackson. You'll see everybody on the defense. And Baltimore will go out there and, play at full strength for the whole game. I don't see Baltimore backing off at all.
And they don't. And not only that, think about this, okay? One of the biggest criticisms about Lamar Jackson is not necessarily his regular season games. They've been moaning and groaning about this guy when they made the playoffs in the first year. They had no business really in there, but they moaned and groaned about his performance. Second year, same thing. This is the year if they get into the playoffs, then Lamar Jackson's going to have to prove it. And it'll be really interesting, especially with how deep the AFC is and how talented there's a lot of teams within this division are. Lamar Jackson's going to have to step up big time because fans and other people are talking about how he is not successful in the playoffs. And, it's a stupid thing because even I don't like this guy, but to understand where he is in the progression of his career, give this guy a break. Yeah, I said it. I can't believe I even said it because I'm not a fan of this guy at all. Need to give the guy a break, let him try to get in there and do something with it. But DC, I think you're on Baltimore too, aren't you?
That is correct.
Yep. Any insight that you see on this one, or is this just based upon your knowledge of what you've seen in the past?
Just the knowledge I've seen in the past, and that's about it.
Yeah, bringing the butter, putting the frosting on the cake in reality. Next game here up on the couch. We go to a game that doesn't matter. None of the teams are going to make the playoffs. Minnesota and Detroit, they're playing for jobs. The big question in reality as far as Detroit is concerned, okay, is where they are as far as what they're going to be for next year. This is a team without a head coach. That guy's in there now is not going to coach this team. And if they do, they need to. And I've even heard even the crazy rumor that Jim Harbaugh is still in the running, even though they heard they're close to the signing for another. Why Michigan would sign this guy again, I don't know. But that's the things that are talking about. On the other hand, you got Minnesota. Minnesota is a football team that has lost defensively. They've been lost defensively all year long. They have not been that dominant team that they have always been. But this all depends on what Matthew Stafford feels about the game in reality. Will he go in there and play balls to the wall, or is he just going to go show up? My thinking is that he may just go there and show up. I think Cooks is not in the game. I'll look that up. But what do you think about this one, Cuervo, when you're looking at it?
Yeah, I don't think Dalvin Cook's playing either. And that's going to make a huge difference in this game. But, I don't want to spend too much time on the non-playoff impacting games. So I think Minnesota still wins even without Dalvin Cook.
Yep.
Agreed.
I think I'm right there with you. I hate the fact that I ended up picking Minnesota in this game because of Kirk Cousins, but right now he's just a better quarterback, even better than Matthew Stafford. So that was sorry. By the way, Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Who was your final pick, Cuervo, in that one? Because I'm just going down my list and I see it still blank. So I either A, didn't hear it, or B, just didn't write it down.
Big brother.
Big brother. Okay, so he's going to go Pittsburgh. And I kind of figured that's what it was, but I wanted to make sure. So that's going to take us into yet another game that doesn't matter very much. And that will be the Jets in New England. You know what? This is laughable. This is laughable. I mean, look at the boss. The boss can't even sit in his chair. But I'm telling you right now, based upon what I've seen I'm going Jet. Jets. They've been playing well, and I'm telling you right now, I think Cuervo, I think I was right. I think I was right on the conspiracy. These guys are playing for jobs. These guys didn't want them in the running for the number one pick. There's a little bit of backbone in this football team. We've seen it for the last 3 weeks. Guys, they're a horrible football team. Don't get me wrong. But guess what? The simple fact is it doesn't matter. And Cam Newton is not the same Cam Newton. I'm going Jets. Cuervo.
Well, I don't know who's playing for what job, Sonny. However, what I do know is
okay, so I have to hit the button here. Oh, wait. There we go. Sorry. So, Cuervo, what is the news?
Well, the news that I've read is that no matter what happens today, Adam Gase will be moving on as the head coach of the New York Jets.
There's a big surprise.
Yeah, big surprise working there.
And you were talking about guys playing for jobs, and it ain't going to be Adam Gase. He's going to be gone.
He's just showing up, and he knows he's got. In fact, he probably in advance cleared out of his office and got it all set to where he can just walk out of the stadium. But the question is he driving himself or is he going to fly back? I don't know. Whether or not they'll let him on the plane, that would be the big question. So interestingly, at least they're not very far away. They're in Foxborough. They're playing. And here's the bad thing. I mean, think about this. I mean, the Patriots have fallen to the wayside to what everybody was talking about. Is it the coach? Is it the player? Is it Tom Brady? Is it the guy? And frankly, what was the line, Cuervo? You can stick anybody in this offense and they'll be successful. In reality, that
I don't think so, Tim.
Hold true. Didn't hold true at all. But what are you expecting from Cam Newton? Just to kind of get a little bit about this game, what are you expecting from Cam Newton?
I mean, I think Cam Newton is auditioning for a job somewhere else next year. So I think he's going to go out there and he's going to play the best that he can. They're going to try to win the football game.
Who do you think is going to win the game?
I actually think even though things have gone the way they have, I think New England will bounce back. Look, I think this is something we had never seen before. I've never seen Bill Belichick as angry as he was last week.
There's no question about that. And that guy's temperamental. I mean, hell, if people think I'm temperamental, Bill Belichick was not the happiest of campers last week. You're right. So
throwing phones, like that's the Belichick we've never seen.
Exactly. Now, that being said, I'm looking at my write down of the picks for the boss. So I'm going to have him just verify his pick because maybe I wrote it down wrong.
Well, what do you have?
I have you with the Jets in this as far as your pick was concerned.
I know, but it's one of these. It's one of these things. Who's going to show up? What team is going to show up? Is it going to be the one that was showed up last week? They probably have a chance. Yeah, right. I got more Superman right here.
All right, so you're still staying with the Jets then?
Yep.
Staying with the Jets. I just wanted to make sure because
I didn't want you to be in a standalone. So
you almost fell out of your chair, so I was thinking that it was the Jets. So that, it is what it is. Yeah, so.
It is because every time you just mention, it's like
you say the Jets. It's funny. It's like Schnauzer, right?
Yeah, right. It's like you already know what the punchline is.
Yeah.
So,
like the word Schnauzer. You just laugh when you hear Jets. Same thing with Schnauzer. It makes me laugh. But it is what. Next game up on board: the Dallas Cowboys and the Giants. Now, this is an interesting game, and the reason being is because there's playoff implications for the one Dallas Cowboys. So let's just run to the Dallas Cowboys where they're at. They're taking on the Giants. Dallas clinches it with a win, and Washington has to lose or tie. Or if Dallas does tie, Washington has to lose. Now, Giants have to win with a Washington loss, and Washington's situation, they have to win, and they will get in. So Washington's only win and get in situation. So this is a tough game in reality to pick because really, I already showed you what it is going to take in reality for the Dallas Cowboys to make it to the next Super Bowl to try to win. This is what they have to do. They got to beat the Giants and have the Eagles beat Washington. Oh, crap. I picked the button. And then in the next round, they got to beat Tom Brady. Then they got to beat Aaron Rodgers. Then they got to beat Drew Brees in New Orleans and beat Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. I just kind of gave away kind of what I was thinking about the playoffs here. But, Dallas, this division of football is so god awful. So, it is what it is. Take a look at this one, Cuervo. I'm going to, while I do this, I'm going to duck out, but talk about this game for just a moment.
Yeah, I think Dallas, look, as much as we hate to talk about it, a lot of people, NFL playoffs is better when the Dallas Cowboys are in. I know it kind of makes a lot of people throw up in their mouth, but that's the truth of it. Just because there's so many Cowboy fans out there that want to see their team in the playoffs. So I don't. Plus, on top of that, who's the guy that has a little bit of playoff experience?
Yes,
Andy Dalton over Daniel Jones.
Yes.
So that's the way I see this situation as well.
That's no. And you also look at the head coaching situation in reality. The better coaching is on the other side, even though Mike McCarthy has the ring and everything else. So that's the reason why I went Dallas. Looks like everybody is going to go Dallas except the Obie is going to go the Giants. Who are you picking in this one, Cuervo?
Yeah, I like Dallas as well. I'll take Dalton over Daniel Jones.
Yeah, Daniel Jones isn't playing for anything. So Andy Dalton has played for things. Interestingly enough, by the way, even if they win and they get in, Andy Dalton going to be known again as a first round exit guy that are there.
I think Belichick is going to faint, and then after Belichick faints, then he's going to pull a Titanic, and he's going to beg for Brady to come back. He's going to be like, Tom, come back, Tom.
In 2 years, though, he's got a 2-year contract in Tampa Bay. So it is what it is. But that being said, DC, I can hear you, but you're on.
Yeah, he froze.
You're froze, but I can hear you. Dennis, speak.
Hello.
Yep, so I can hear him, but he's frozen, so that's fine. He'll catch up. So don't go anywhere. I think it'll catch up. He did. He
dropped.
He did what I told him not to do, which is move on, but it is what it is. Next game up on board here on the Couch Potato Sports Show is, hit the wrong button. The Atlanta Falcons take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are already in. There's no way they can win the first round bye. Didn't have a lot to say in reality about this one as far as that was concerned. Atlanta is who they are. They're the fourth quarter dive. And until they get that squared away, whether that be coaching, personnel, whatever, in a mindset, chemistry, whatever the case may be, even if they're in this game, Tom Brady doesn't need this game. They're in the playoffs. And they're not going to win the division. That's New Orleans. So it really doesn't do it. How long will we see Tom Brady? How long will we see Gronk? I think we see him for a half. But I still don't think that Atlanta has enough because Atlanta checked out a long time ago. So I'm going to go ahead and just by default go Tampa Bay. You're going to fly on the other side, fly it by the seat of your pants and pick the Atlanta Falcons in this one?
Hell no.
Not even just no.
And not only does Tampa win this game, Sonny, but I think everybody plays the whole game. They are going to go. They are all in today. I think Tampa wants to make a statement that they're not a fluke, and that they just. I think what it really is, Sonny, more than that is they want some momentum going into the playoffs.
That's what I was thinking at the same time because they know what their record is. They're not stupid. Okay, they also know that they got to play better, and they also got to know. And this, I'm telling you right now, this is the thing that kept Tampa Bay in this. Okay, it's Tom Brady ripping. Listen, Tom Brady hasn't been perfect. Okay. But there's a reason why Tom Brady hasn't been perfect. Listen, you become the GOAT because you are the GOAT. Simple as that. And good to see the
Big Dog.
Big Dog. If you want, I'll send you the link. I'll bring you on, Big Dog. Let me know. I'll just I'll send it over. I can bring you in. And he's looking good with that silver hair, man. He looked good to see Big Dog, and good to see that he's healthy. I watch bits and pieces of Sports Talk with the guys before I was busy at work, which is hard to watch your show. But I was watching Big Dog on Sports Talk with the guys, looking good. But that being said, we're in the same feeling about Tampa Bay and where they are and what's going on. So that being said, then, because we're running roughshod through this, we're hitting the next one. The New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers, obviously Carolina not playing for anything, but New Orleans, we did just briefly talk about what they were doing as far as their playoff concern was. It's not the fact that they're not in. They've already clinched the NFC South, but they want to get the bye, so they need to win. They need your Chicago Bears to show up against the hated Green Bay Packers, and then they need Seattle to beat San Francisco. So this is not necessarily, well, I don't know. I don't know if I want to call it a stretch or anything, but this one is possible. And now just all depend on where Green Bay is and their thinking and what's going to go on going into this one. So, but New Orleans has to take care of business. They would love to get that first round bye. I think they'd love to have a week of karma Alvin Kamara with a break. Same thing with their quarterback, of course, Drew Brees. So I'm actually going New Orleans in this one. Carolina just doesn't have it. But if they bail at halftime and say that's enough for the starters, we don't want to risk injury, they could probably get back into it, but I don't think it'll be enough. I'm going on the other side. I'm taking New Orleans.
Yeah, the game's in New Orleans. Is that right?
No, the game is in Carolina.
Ooh, that makes for an interesting game, Sonny. And I know that sounds crazy, but again, no Michael Thomas, no Alvin Kamara.
Week 17.
Exactly, but again, here's the deal: no Kamara, no Michael Thomas. That's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough to take the Saints with all their offensive pieces gone. So, look, hey, do I feel lucky? I think I might feel lucky on this one.
Uh-oh. Oh, really? So I almost did it, but you're thinking about.
Do I feel lucky?
Man. And I showed the last part of that because that would be that. This is the Carolina Panthers Super Bowl, regardless, kind of look at it. Guys that are auditioning for jobs, but are you going to get a Christian McCaffrey in this one? Is he going to play, or do you know?
I don't know, Sonny. I don't know that for sure.
Let's see. Carolina is at home. That means the Carolina. Where's that damn game at? Why can't I find this damn game? It's right here. It should be right here in my previews. What the hell? There it is. I'm looking in the wrong spot. All right. So here's the injury report coming from this one. Here it is. Injuries. Boom, boom, boom. Christian McCaffrey. He is out for the game. Just to let everybody know. He is out. Robbie Anderson, wide receiver, out. Mike Davis is doubtful. And then you have a couple of questionables. So there you go.
Well, I'm still considering taking Carolina, but as of right now, do I feel lucky enough? I don't know.
We'll give it an hour and 3 minutes is what we'll do as far as that is concerned. So he has a full hour to think about that one. That being said, okay, last hour we're just going to go commercial free. So let's do the commercials now as we move towards the top of the hours here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. Of course, we thank everybody for joining us. And of course, we thank our sponsors here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. When we come back, we'll knock out the rest of it and can go over some other news that is going on in the NFL that we want to talk about. So take a quick break here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. And that being said, we'll be back.
This is Sonny Clark, radio voice of your Rowlett Eagles, letting you know about RowlettFood.com. Do you want to have dinner delivered but you don't want to use Uber Eats? Contact someone locally that can do the same thing at a better price and faster. All you have to do is pick a restaurant on the list at the website, tell us what you'd like to order, then check out, and you'll have your food within 25 to 45 minutes, depending on distance. Check out RowlettFoods.com for your next meal at Raising Cane's, Golden Pod, Ponchos and Lefty, and more. Give us a call at 972-408-8002 or check us out on the web at RowlettFood.com. This is Sonny Clark, radio voice of your Rowlett Eagles, letting you know about Landon Huey and 19 Ministries.
One of the things we want to do is we have this idea, the name that's kind of sticking right now is Rowlett Revival. And we know that there are a lot of hurting and broken people across the city. Out of a population of 60,000, there's close to 40,000 that aren't saved. And we want to do like a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday where we'll bring in a guest speaker, and he's just going to share the love of Christ. And we want to connect people in the city up with churches, and where they can find a healthy church family and find people that believe in them and find a God that loves them. Jesus came for a broken world, and man, he loves and cares for everybody in the city. And so we're excited about that. We're working through details right now, but our vision is to see God's going to reach a lot of people.
So make sure you contact Landon Huey at 19 Ministries at 972-835-8665, or check them out on the web at 19ministries.org or uniterowlett.org. This is Sonny Clark, radio voice of your Rowlett Eagles, asking, are you looking for a new home? Want to know what your house could sell for in today's market? Then you need to contact Realtor Jeremy Morgan with Ray Hubbard Real Estate Group at Keller Williams Rockwall. Whether you're buying, selling, leasing, or investing, he can help you get where you need to be. Visit RayHubbardRealEstateGroup.com or make an appointment today by calling 214-236-2914. That's 214-236-2914. Jeremy Morgan with Ray Hubbard Real Estate Group, Keller Williams Rockwall. Find out how Merchant Masters DFW, specializing in small business companies, can help you save money and protect your customers' information with our credit card processing and point-of-sale systems. In 95% of our cases, our services save our clients money. So, what makes Merchant Masters DFW different from all the others? It's an integrity-first approach to each client we work with, so you receive the very best, including financial savings, lowest possible rates, superior technology, and improved support. So claim your free audit at merchantmastersdfw.com or contact John Beeman at 262-339-5470 for more information. That's 262-339-5470. Merchant Masters DFW, different from all the rest.
Ever want to know why Bill and I look so great on our broadcast? Check out K West Designs on Facebook to find out why. Check out all the samples that Kelly has got up so you can see, especially if you have that special occasion that needs something original, something designed, something that just says, this is our moment. Check out K West Designs on Facebook or give her a call at 469-601-5856. That's 469-601-5856. Again, K West Designs. Make yourself look original or different or just something just for you. K West Designs. Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, as we're coming to you here on a Sunday morning as the Sunday morning tradition continues on in our 11th season. February 17th, it's all about the Couch Potato Sports Show, as we have been doing this for not one, not two, not the, oh, sorry. I did the LeBron James there. Oh, sorry. But on the February 17th, it'll be about the Couch Potato Sports Show. 12 long years that we've been doing this, which, by the way, people have been watching for 12 years go, God, it has been a long 12 years. And, of course, Cuervo joined us, and he's going to be kicking his 11th anniversary around here with us as well. But look at this right here. Join us, get us all ready for the game or February 17th. 12 years. I'm excited. That being said, of course, that's the name of this show. He went and got his test, and he is here with us. It's Obie, Jim Ovenauer, and I don't know how much of the show you saw with one Bryce, but he is loving the way that it has ended up. Good morning, my friend. How you doing?
I wish I could say I was better.
Oh, so did you get a rapid one, or did you got to wait a couple of days? You got it. You're coughing. I already can tell you're coughing.
I went and got the rapid, but I'm also going to ASU to get my test done there too. So
yeah, they do that for you because you work there. By the way, you've been at ASU for God, how long?
26 years, something like that.
Damn, long time at ASU. But that being said, congratulations on that. I mean, but it is. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. All right, I'm going to rapid fire all the games that we're up to except the Pittsburgh game because I know you need more than rapid time on that one. Just really quick as far as your looks at, I got your picks because you weren't sure if you were going to make it. Let's go Miami at Buffalo. Looking at your picks here.
Bills. Bills.
No elaboration. All right, Baltimore and Cincinnati.
Baltimore needs to win. Cincinnati stinks.
Yep, and so they need to win. Cincinnati Bengals get the play spoiler if they get the opportunity.
Yeah, they could. But
yep, Minnesota game that means nothing. Minnesota at Detroit.
This was a hard one for me. I went back and forth. I couldn't remember if Dalvin Cook was going to be playing today.
Not going to play.
I guess that's why I picked the Lions then.
Yeah, so Detroit, and then the Jets take on the Patriots. The
Patriots.
Yeah, he was all over.
As much as I hate to say that, it's the Patriots.
Yeah, makes it. Now, a game that does matter, the Dallas Cowboys are on the road taking on the New York Giants. It looks like you were hanging yourself as the only one to pick.
The G-Men?
Yes, the only one that picks the G-Men.
I know I'm probably gonna suffer for that pick, but somehow, some way, I think the G-Men are gonna pull it out today. Even though I think the Cowboys are playing better than they are right now, something tells me that the football gods, are going to say, Jerry Jones, nothing for you.
In other words, in reality, the Cowboys making the.
I don't think so, Jim.
Jerry Jones, you know what? I think I'm with you because guess what? One thing you are right about in this scenario is the Dallas Cowboys football gods have not been very kind to the Dallas Cowboys. Not only that, if you think about it, think about the quarterback, Andy Dalton, want to be known as another first-round playoff exit guy? How about just not get there and you don't have to worry about it? And you know what? Sonny just flipped his pick. I'm going with the G-Men. I don't know. So I'm right there with it, and because I think you're right in reality. So that being said, that takes us to Atlanta and Tampa Bay.
Bucks.
Yeah, and we just talked about the New Orleans Saints taking on the Carolina Panthers. Cuervo made me make an asterisk next to this one because he's got an hour to decide if he's going to flip from New Orleans to Carolina. What do you got?
Here's what I got. Even though I know, and honestly, it's been one crazy few days here.
Yeah.
So I haven't really looked at NFL.com. Drew Brees playing?
My understanding, he is playing, yes.
Okay. He's going to get himself right in this game.
But I think he's not going to have Alvin Kamara. I don't think Alvin Kamara is playing, and I don't think that Thomas is playing either. I think Thomas definitely not. Definitely not playing. Kamara, they said, at least when I'm looking at this, that he is not going to play either. So interestingly enough.
So they take the backup quarterback. What is it? Taysom, what is his last name?
Well, then Hill or
Taysom Hill. They're going to take the backup quarterback. Here's what they need to do. Taysom Hill, put him in the slot, let Drew Brees throw to him.
Yep. Let's see here. No one's officially on there. It's just whether or not they're going to play. Just so that everybody knows. Yeah, so they're not now. By the way, Josh Hill, just to let everybody know, is questionable. That's the quarterback that would back up Drew Brees. So okay. That brings us up to date. But since Cuervo's not there, I'll give you the floor. Frank Gore, is he a Hall of Famer or is he not a Hall of Famer? Just the look alone. I mean, my God.
Okay, so I've been watching the back and forth, with the Facebook Messenger and everything. I understand the numbers. The numbers are there. Why are the numbers there? Longevity.
Well, one number.
Just because what?
One number.
Okay, but just because he's been there, longevity doesn't make him a Hall of Famer.
I agree. No,
I'm sorry. I agree with you.
I'm getting so much love on the Couch Potato Sports Show. I'm getting so much love because, and I love my big brother, not my next brother, but my big brother. I think listen, don't get me wrong. He's going to get in because I know how they vote. Okay.
Yes.
I just don't think he's a Hall of Famer just as much. Hey, by the way, I'm going to mention a name that's going to make you smile even bigger than you smile. Donovan McNabb, a Hall of Famer?
No.
See, we're on the same wave path here. I love me some Obie. I knew there was a reason why I had some mad love for the open hour.
That's like saying Randall Cunningham is Hall of Famer.
Listen, I love Randall Cunningham.
So do I.
Oh my God, I love Randall. As a matter of fact, if there was a Hall of Good, he'd be in there. Oh my God, I love me some Randall. In fact, I had a Randall Cunningham jersey when I was smaller. Notice how I said smaller.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway,
I was going to let that one go.
Yeah, it really. By the way, since I got you here and Cuervo's not here, I'm going to reminisce a little bit.
Yeah.
You did not attend these with me, and if you did, it was like one or two, and I don't remember. Do you remember Phoenix Roadrunner hockey?
Yes.
And you attended some games with me, didn't you?
We used to go like almost every Saturday.
Right, yeah, it's like okay, go. So you were along with me. I knew you were, but I missed that Flame jersey. That Flame jersey was the coolest jersey I've ever had. And if they had it in fat ass size, and that's PH fat, I would. I'd have it still. It is the coolest jersey I ever owned. And you know what? I miss Roadrunner hockey, not minor league hockey, because I can go down and watch the Allen Americans week in and week out if I ever wanted to. I miss Roadrunner hockey. Not only that, Roadrunner's player, Dan Blasma, was the coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins. So that was another kind of cool thing. So,
there was several Roadrunner players.
Yes.
We would watch them before they made the big show.
Absolutely. And got it.
It was great.
Stadium. I miss the stadium. I mean,
still there, still standing.
It's still there. And if I could go to a hockey game, I would go. You got to go to the Pringles can, man. I'm telling you, you got to go to the Pringles stadium. It's unbelievable. You want to, and that's nostalgia, by the way, because you want to talk a no frills, stadium. That's what Arizona Veterans Memorial Coliseum.
Yes, it was. That was old school.
God, I miss it. And and listen, I went to many years to the Allen Americans. Just wasn't the same. I liked it and I went, but I didn't have the love like I had for those Phoenix Roadrunners.
Oh, yeah, that was great times, man.
Oh man, just the greatest time. And then getting blitzed and going and singing real bad at a bar, afterwards.
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations.
No, wait. Let's get everything straight, everybody. I was the one that sang bad. Mr. Sonny here could do some mean stuff.
I needed alcohol though, because
yes, you did.
that wasn't happening with adult beverages.
me trying to do Bob Seger, that was fun.
Oh, yeah, that was one to remember.
Yes, Bob Seger, and here's another one, Hootie and the Blowfish.
But you did well with that. I think you did well with it. I helped you out in background and harmony on that one. So
yes, you did.
Maybe that's what made it sound so.
Probably, yeah. You made it a lot better, buddy.
That being said, of course, that's the name of the show. We got 45 minutes. We got to blast through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games, which won't be hard because we're just really hitting these really hard. Cuervo, right now is checked out. He'll be back here in just a moment, but we need to move on so we can get there because there's more NFL news and more just sports news I want to talk about. So let's head into the next game. Next game up on board, the Green Bay. Well, no, let's skip because I need Cuervo. So we'll go to the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Indianapolis Colts. Now, here is the scenario for the AFC and the Indianapolis Colts. Let me just get right there. Here it is. Indianapolis Colts win. They're trying to clinch the Southern Division right now against Tennessee. But Indianapolis has to win and Tennessee has to lose or tie. Then they'll end up with it. Indianapolis also can win it if they tie and Tennessee loses. So that is the case scenario. One of these two teams may or may not be in the playoffs. But Indianapolis wins, Baltimore loses or ties, Indianapolis is in. Indianapolis wins and your Browns lose, then they get in. If Indianapolis wins and Miami loses or ties, they get in. And then there's 3 tie scenarios that I'm not going to get into. So that's what is in store for this one. And I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to live off the fact that they play spoiler. And here's the reason why. And it happened last week. This team could have clinched the playoff spot last week, but they took the loss. And it was a bad loss. I forgot who it was, but Indianapolis should not have lost. Let me see here. They lost to Pittsburgh. They needed to win that game, and they did not win that game. Pittsburgh. Wait, is that right?
Hang on.
Yeah, Pittsburgh won last week. So,
yeah. It was 28.
By the way, I was the only one to pick. Thank you very much. Even Bryce.
By the way, the Steelers were down big in that game.
Yes.
They came back.
Fourth quarter comeback, and Bryce was talking about that. And that's coaching, and that's coaching, keeping players in your game, and then just keep chugging and chugging and chugging. But here's the thing: I'm looking at this one when I think Jackson and I think Indianapolis. Right now I don't trust and have not trusted Phillip Rivers. He has to win this game. I don't trust him on a have to win any game. Jacksonville sucks, and I'm still going to Jacksonville Jaguars in reality. That should tell you something. How much I feel about a team under pressure that is the Indianapolis Colts, and I don't think they have it, and I think they lose this one. So I'm going Indianapolis.
I went Indianapolis as well.
All right, I'm going
to Jags.
I'm going Jaguars, and yes,
okay, I'm going to Colts.
I was looking at your pick, and I said it.
Colts have got to win this game.
Colts have to win it, but I think Tennessee's the one that's got to nab up.
So are you saying that? So I think Jonathan Taylor has a big game today for the Colts.
Well, he needs to, and here's the reason why: is if they do get in the playoffs, they're going to have to depend upon him. So guess what? They have to depend upon 2 people: Jonathan Taylor's one, and Phillip Rivers. And I don't know if you're going to get both of them. I think you will get it from him. but I don't think they're going to get it from Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers knows. You know what? He is such a. You know what Phillip Rivers is really good at, Obie. He's really good at looking at a hand and folding. He might have a good hand, but he'll fold anyway. He's a great poker player. He just folds out the best hands, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to fold in this one as well because that guy just cannot be, and for some reason, just cannot win the big games they need to win. And it's atypical of his career. Now, if they win this one, the Indianapolis Colts are a hard get out of the playoffs, so that'll be interesting. But Phillip Rivers has to be on, so we'll see if we get the Phillip Rivers that we're supposed to. So we'll go to Cuervo since he's made his way back into this one.
Cuervo, what's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going? Sorry, guys, for the delay. I actually fell asleep watching Frank Gore highlights. I don't know what happened.
Here's a cut and save right here. I was actually fell asleep because anyway. Good to see Cuervo back into it.
I tried.
Indianapolis, will Phillip Rivers get the job done in order to get the victory against the Jacksonville Jaguars to complete the first part of them in order to make the playoffs?
Of course he will, Sonny, and I hate to say that with so much confidence about your Jacksonville Jaguars, but come on. Come on, man. Come on.
Sonny. What do you got in that coffee today, buddy?
Hey, man, I had banana and English coffee. So,
banana, Cuervo, some banana and some hooch.
Listen,
some cream brulee.
When has Phillip Rivers ever shown up in a big game? When has Phillip Rivers ever showed up? Guess what? This is a big game. Guess what? Jaguars suck. And they're going to win this game somehow. They are going to figure out how to win this game and just throw the curveball to the Indianapolis Colts, and the Tennessee Titans are going to make the playoffs.
See, Sonny hasn't clarified it. He's drinking whatever he's drinking. He says bananas, but what he really means is 99 bananas.
Banana flavored vodka.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Do they make that?
So you're going to say Indianapolis, Cuervo?
That's a thumbs up.
Yeah, dumb questions deserve silence.
Oh, that was terrible. Crazy knuckleheaded terrible.
It is what it is, but hey, all right, next game up on board here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. You know what we'll do, Cuervo? You know, since you weren't here, we'll just. That's because we were going to talk about the game of the week. The Chicago Bears. They are at home taking on the hated, and I mean hated Green Bay Packers if you're a real Bear fan. And, and I don't know if he's going to go realistic Chicago Bears or he's wishful thinking Chicago Bears. And so I'm going to ask Cuervo, what is it? Is it the wishful thinking Chicago Bears, or will it be the Cuervo with a level head going, there's not a snowball chance in hell they're going to win this game, Cuervo?
I'm leaning towards wishful thinking.
Yeah.
I really am. Because, I mean, look.
The big question, though, Cuervo, is do you have enough?
Do I feel lucky?
Is there enough to pull the trigger for this one? I mean, this one's a hard one because, hey, Chicago wins, they're in, right, Cuervo?
Exactly.
And you're in. Something to cheer for.
Hey, just like my Browns. We win, we're in.
Just like your Browns. By the way, did you pick them out of heart or because of brain?
What?
Did you pick the Cleveland Browns out of heart or your head?
I picked the Browns by my heart.
All right. So you honestly think Steelers are going to win this game?
No, I don't.
Yeah, they are. Anyway, and just as the Green Bay Packers are going to beat the Bears, but I'm using my head. I'm going Green Bay.
Wait, guys, did you see I got my Browns jersey on.
Oh, look at that.
Old school Tim Couch. Tim Couch.
The Tim Couch special?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Man, that's going scout.
Yeah.
Don't ever get rid of that, Obie. That's a collector's item.
That might be the only thing
collector's
he's
item.
known for.
It should be in the closet collecting dust.
By the way, is he's still playing? He's backing up
Oh
somewhere.
my God, no! Tim Couch is out.
No, he's then somebody else I'm thinking of is backing up.
Johnny Manziel.
So, but all right. So, I have the. By the way, I have the asterisks next to the New Orleans games for you because you have not. You waited until you're going to wait until the end of the hour to really. And if you don't tell me, you're stuck with New Orleans, so you can't forget. So, on this one, are you going to go Green Bay or are you going to go Chicago just as the official pick?
Sonny, I don't even know why this is a question. Why would I pick against my team with a chance to go to the postseason? Why would I ever in a million years do that?
Because you're using your brain instead of your heart. You know, Green Bay wants to go ahead and lock up home field. We told you about the scenario that would have to happen. Green Bay would have to lose, New Orleans would have to win, and Seattle would have to win. That is a possibility. Brain tells me they want the bye. Brain tells me Green Bay Packers. That's who I'm on. Even though I just literally just puked in my throat or my mouth again. You know, it's hard for me to do that, but my brain, I'm going for the brain on this one. I'm going Green Bay. You're going Chicago. Everybody else is going. Oh no, Obie. Obie's your friend today. Obie is your friend. He is going the Bears.
The Bears.
Why are you going the Bears? Is this just a gut feeling for you, or?
Oh, Packers going to rest players.
Rest.
They've already they're in the playoffs.
Yeah,
they've won the division, right? Did they win the division?
Yeah, they won the division, but
they won the division.
What is online is home field advantage.
Aaron Rodgers will maybe play a first half. That's about it.
Interesting.
Listen, here's the other
and here, listen to this. Listen to this, Cuervo. The Bears, over I think the last 4 weeks,
yes,
as one of the best offenses going in the NFL.
No question.
Monkey, please. Monkey. Monkey.
You need why you need
you monkey in it, buddy.
Yeah. No,
Are those
I'm not buying
numbers?
it. They're very deceiving. Very deceiving.
Looks they're deceiving. Well, I think I get that, but also at the same time, when you go in thinking, and let's just say this, when you go in with a positive mind, which, listen, Mitchell Trubisky knows that this is his job right now, so he's actually feeling good. Not only that, your head coach knows he can get to him. If he's going to get to anybody, he's not going to get to Nick Foles. He's going to get through to Mitchell Trubisky. So the chances are better. The chemistry is better in reality. And as much as I stabbed the hell out of the Chicago Bears when Nick Foles was the quarterback, and I told you the reason why, and if they would have stuck with them, I would have been right. They put themselves in a position where they got a chance, which you can't even go back into the Dumb and Dumber and say, so we got a chance. If Nick Foles would have stayed the quarterback for the Chicago Bears. So, interestingly enough, that's where they are. I don't know if they'll end up getting it, but we'll find out. That's the name of the show. Couch Potato Sports Show, covering them all. Next game. Next game up on board is the Tennessee-Houston game. Tennessee needs this game, and if they do get the victory, they're going to make the playoffs. Let me bring up the Tennessee situation. Tennessee wins, they're in, or if Indianapolis loses, they're in. So that's what it is. Also, if Baltimore loses, they're in. If Miami loses, they're in. So they got a lot of ways to make the playoffs, but I think they're going to go out and just do it the old-fashioned way when you're in. Of course, it is Houston. They're god-awful. But I'm going to tell you right now, we talked about it about 3 years ago, Cuervo, when we were talking about J.J. Watts. You needed to get rid of him 3 years ago to get any value. His mouth has given him more value right now, and now he is back to where maybe he would have been 3 years ago. The guy's got value, and the reason being is he's showing his heart all over the place. The guy won't shut his mouth, saying, "If you don't want to win, don't play on my football team." God, that is so refreshing.
Yeah. I mean, look. I mean, we'll we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So,
we're gonna see.
interestingly enough, so in this game, Tennessee's taking on Houston, and the second rising of a quarterback that was in doom down in Miami makes his way up there, and now quarterbacking the Tennessee Titans, putting themselves prime into the playoffs. They don't even have to win this one. They can get a little help, and the help is not even one of those crazy help things, and they can still make the playoffs. That being said, Cuervo, looking at this one, what you got in this one as the Tennessee Titans go on the road to take on the Houston Texans?
Yeah, I think Tennessee will it's going to be one of those teams that are going to play to win this game. They're not. I don't really feel like they're going to really rest anybody. Maybe Derrick Henry, just because not only is he the best player, but don't forget how unstoppable he was last year in the playoffs until Kansas City slowed him down. So I mean, that's a guy that you can't afford to lose going into the postseason. So, but I do think Tennessee's going to try to win this game. I think they are going to win this game. As far as Houston, look, we did say a couple of years ago, trade J.J. Watt away. Now he's frustrated with the team.
Mm-hmm.
And, I know you just said that his mouth is going to, raise his value. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, because now what he's done is he has expressed his frustration with the team, which is going to let other teams know he wants out, and I think that lowers his value.
I think he made that known a month and a half ago when he was doing this. I think it just, and I think what you see in J.J. Watts is a guy who's sick of just BS. And listen, Deshaun Watson getting paid a lot of money. He's playing. He's not just playing bad. He's playing real bad. He's not J.J. Watt, or he's not Deshaun Watson in it. You're getting a shell of what he is. Of course, he gets the money and then he disappears. Which is, but really, when you think about J.J. Watts, what he is trying to put out there in reality, he wants that respect. And I don't know if he's going to get it by calling out his players, but here's what I was thinking when I was thinking about this whole thing. If he just did this all of a sudden and he was not digging in guys' asses during the year, he would be out of line doing this. Now, if he was digging in asses and wasn't getting any results from it, now he's calling out his team, I'm all for what he did there. So we just don't know what that is. And we will never know that unless he, comes out and says, I've been on their ass all year long. I'm tired of it. I'll just embarrass the hell out of them. And maybe that's what it was. I don't know. But if he did not get in these guys' faces before he did what he did, I think it's a punk move. That's just me. So, Obie, looking at this game and J.J. Watts, give me your opinion, J.J. Watts and the game, Tennessee and at Houston.
I picked Tennessee to win.
Mm-hmm.
But just hearing J.J. Watt talk last Sunday and frustration, yes, he's frustrated.
Yep.
But I think, if in my opinion, I think he's more frustrated, yes, maybe with his team. But I think he's more frustrated with management. I think he's frustrated with the owner.
Mm-hmm.
How can one team explain them trading away their best player?
Yes.
And getting hardly anything back?
Nothing. Had a good week
DeAndre
one, week
Hopkins
two, and after that, adios, off you go.
Top 5 receiver right now in the league. And are you telling me, I mean, yes, Kyler Murray plays better, I think, right now than Deshaun Watson. But when you take away a weapon from Deshaun Watson,
absolutely,
that hurts him.
That was a dumb move.
Real dumb.
Yeah.
Dude,
and when you get back David Johnson, who? David Johnson had one good year.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And so I think if you really sat down, if J.J. Watt and I were buddies and we're sitting down having a beer, I bet you a lot of money. I was like, JJ, come on. You're sitting down, you're calling out your teammates. Is this the first time you're doing it? I agree with you. It's a punk move. But if you're doing it more to try to send a message to general managers and to the owner on he's frustrated with what they're doing, yeah. I think he's good. That's what makes this Texans team dangerous today.
So you want to flip because I have Tennessee as your official.
I'm not flipping. I'm going to stick with the Titans, but I'm just saying the Houston Texans are dangerous today.
It should be Cuervo, looking at Houston, what they're capable of doing. Okay, listen, Hopkins, he's not the best thing to come along since Fruit Punch in reality. Hold on, no. Who's the wide receiver there now? Is it Hopkins? No.
In Houston?
Yeah.
Well, you got Will Fuller, who just got busted for PEDs.
You got Will Fuller, but he's not going to play. He's gone. Who else are they going to lean on in order to try to get a win? And
they got Brandon Cooks. They got Brandon Cooks.
There you go. Yeah.
And I think they have Kenny Stills, if I'm not
remembering. Someone's trying to pick him up.
But Brandon Cooks has the dropsies.
That's a good point. Mm-hmm. He for some reason, that could be because of the chemistry of the team. Listen, that guy's going to catch the football if they're in playoff contention. I'm sorry, he is. I mean, I don't know. I thought LA made a mistake letting him go. I did. I think that they should have kept him.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. All right, so everybody's going to ride the Tennessee bandwagon this week and see how that ends up going. All right, so on to the next game here on the Couch Potatoes. Takes us to the Chargers in Kansas City, as we're not going to see Patrick Mahomes. We're not going to see any starters at all. That defense is bad enough with the starters. And I thought I was going to be the only one pick it, but I got the picks from everybody else. I'm not the only one that is going Chargers in this one. Chargers have nothing to lose. They got a good young quarterback trying to make a name for himself. Kansas City has really nothing to lose in this game. By the way, who's starting at the quarterback position for Kansas City today? What's his name? Chris Henn is starting at the quarterback position for Kansas City. That should tell you about that. But that being said, I just – Chargers are our team on the upswing, and they just need to continue it on. This is their Super Bowl. They need to have a good game here. And then, obviously, what they'll do in the offseason, try to help that team and move on. Next year, Chargers are going to be a team that you're going to have to worry about. And I think a good win here, even against the backups in Kansas City, that's something to build on, Cuervo, coming forward next year.
Yeah, it is. And, I mean, it's not – you're not really sending a message, but I think you're just kind of – you want to feel good about going into the off season. Like, yeah, I know it was Chad Henne but it's Kansas City. We went in there and, if a team's going to let you beat them, beat them. Don't try to resist, just take that win, whatever it is, what it is. But yeah, I think with Herbert, getting through his rookie season, going into year 2, knock on wood that he stays healthy. I think like you said, you can make the argument that in that division, if you're thinking about the AFC West, because you got Carr with the Raiders, you got Derek Carr with the Raiders, you got Drew Lock in Denver, and then you've got Herbert and Patrick Mahomes. You can make the argument that Justin Herbert is the second best quarterback in that division.
I agree. I think he is now. Well, obviously, where they're at. So are you going to pull the trigger? Are you going to go Chargers, or are you going to go Kansas City in the backups?
Honestly, it's
bad with the starters. My God.
I don't even think you're really pulling the trigger on this one. I mean, you'd be pulling the trigger saying that Chad Henne's going to win a game. That's my opinion.
Oh, is that his name? I said Chris Henne. It's Chad?
Chad Henne. Yeah. So I'm going to go Chargers as well.
Chargers, and
no Mahomes, no Tyreek Hill, like that. Everyone's, and you probably won't see Travis Kelce much today either.
And think about this, those guys are not going to just get the first round bye, they're getting the week 17 bye too. So they got 21 days before they hit the football field. Amazing. That's actually good. And you get guys healthy, and you're definitely planting them down. So that's a good idea for them. So, Obie, what do you think? Chargers in Kansas City. I got you written down, but yeah, you're going Kansas City.
And I'm going to tell you guys 3 things right now that's going to have you guys flip. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay. Number 1, the Chargers have 7 defensive starters out for this game.
Right.
Number 2, in the last 24 games against the Chargers, the Chiefs are 23-1.
Uh-huh.
And number 3, Andy Reid is 3-1 as a coach with a backup quarterback. The only loss was to the Chargers because Sukup missed a field goal.
Oh, I remember that. I remember.
And it's been playing in Kansas City, and they take pride in their record.
Yeah, but their defense is so bad.
Oh, that was number 4. Sorry, that was 4 reasons.
Oh.
Okay, everybody get out on the gym mat and do a flip. Hurry up, quick.
Definitely. So
I'm sticking with the Chiefs.
He's the only one hanging in on that one. So he'll ride by the island. So
can I say at the end of the day, I told you so?
Say again?
I said at the end of the day, can I message everyone and say I told you so?
Oh yeah, oh definitely. And you know what? I'll put the little dance.
I told you so. 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 I told you so.
So yeah, there you go. Well, if she was dancing in front of me, I'd be all right with that. How about it?
Oh,
it is what it is. All right, next game up on board here on the Couch Potato Sports Show as we're going through all of them. It's the Raiders and the Denver Broncos. I think this is an interesting game. No playoff things, but man, you want to talk. If you're the Raiders, if you get bitch slapped by the Denver Broncos today, wouldn't that just be a great Chucky moment? I just love it. And I love it so much. I'm going with your woman's. Yes, Cuervo's woman's. Broncos all the way. Because I want to see it. I want to see Chucky go down this week. So tell your lady that I'm all over the Denver Broncos to beat up Chucky today.
She can hear you.
Oh, she's got mad love for She got some mad love for Sonny now. See,
you're her favorite now.
I know. I mean, you know.
Hey, can we talk?
I'm her favorite here. So
no, she's not. I'm not gonna be her favorite. I'll tell you that.
You can run with the Raiders.
So
says, that's my Sonny.
Yes.
She said, "That's my Sonny." For
that's right. That's right. She'll just throw you to the side, and she knows where I live. But this one right here, Cuervo. I mean, are you going to pull the trigger on the Denver Broncos? I want to see it because I want to see Chucky go down. I do. After that bet, they should have won it. Listen, I'll argue it all day long. They should have went for the touchdown. They went down and kicked the field goal and got their asses handed to them. It was beautiful. It was a classic Chucky, and I love it. And guess what? They're going to end out on the bad end of town. Who do you think? Who you going to pick in this one, Cuervo?
Yeah. So this is when you know you found the one, guys. All right, because I know for a fact. I know that she wants to see me happy. Well, I know she wants Chicago to be Green Bay today. So because of that, I am also going to take my ladies Denver Broncos, beat her nemesis of the Las Vegas Raiders.
I used to love the Raiders. I did. Now, and this is what I'm going to say. I've heard people say, and I don't know, maybe I'm just living in Sonny's fantasy world, which I do a lot, by the way, in case you didn't know. But I think some of the best fans in the NFL are, the Raiders. I love the Raiders. I hear they're a bunch of punks and thugs, but you got guys who in.
I don't think they're punks and thugs.
That's what my brother said. My brother says they're the worst fans in the NFL. And I'm sitting here going, nah, I don't think so, Tim. They are definitely. I don't
think so, Tim.
He was slow. That's why I had to say it. But I think they're some of the best fans. I mean, you dress up like Darth Vader and all those crazy people out there in that's just, you got the crazy nuts that'll beat someone up for wearing the wrong jersey. But, in reality, though, fans are fans. I mean, Obie, this one here is a tough one because I like the coach for Denver, too. So it's another reason why.
He's coming back next year, by the way, guys. He'll be back in Denver.
If he's not, they're making a big mistake.
No. It's already confirmed. He will be. Vic Fangio will be back in Denver.
Good. Yeah. He needs to be because he needs a real team. Because for the last 2 years, that poor guy couldn't get a team. And not only that, missing their big defensive player on the other side. His name slipped in my mind.
Miller.
Yeah, missing him all year long. So
and they're getting a top 10 pick. So
yes, there you go. Obie, when you're looking at this one, how do you think about Raiders and Denver Broncos?
What I've been seeing from the Raiders this year is they lose the games they should win.
Yes.
And they win the games they should lose.
Yes. Happens every year. Yes.
The Raiders are going to win this game. Because even though they're a 2.5-point favorite,
pick 'em, Irvin.
The Raiders are going to win this game because why?
Why?
Because Chucky is going to realize he needs to win this game. I don't care what contract he's signed. I don't care. It's the Raiders. It's the ownership. If Chucky loses this game and gets, as you said, bitch slapped by the Broncos, Chucky's gone.
Oh, wait.
This is total BS.
Not only that, he is 3 years. Do you honestly think that they would pay this guy $70 million to say,
"This is Vegas, baby"?
I can't do
Vegas.
Anything goes in Vegas.
You got one of the cheapest franchises in the NFL outside the Bears. Okay, all right. Said it. You got one of the cheapest franchises in the NFL, and you think they're just going to piss away $70 million? That motherfucker ain't going nowhere. He is so dug in. They didn't just put 6 feet of concrete. They put in 10 just to make sure he's set. And that's the only reason why he accepts.
Can I propose a question to you guys?
Sure.
I'll tell you what I think. Out of that 10-year, $100 million contract, how much of that do you actually think he fulfills before he either gets fired or he resigns?
Fired. He'll get fired first. He won't resign.
No, he won't. I don't think he will.
Well, okay. I'll preface.
How many years do you think he lasts?
He's not going to last through this year. If he loses this game, he's done.
Okay. So you think he's
I'll preface what I said about him getting fired. They might give him an option out. Say, hey, we can go public with this. Say we fired your ass. Or here's some money. Here's the rest of that $70 million. Why don't you just go away quietly?
Well, they'd have to do that because he ain't giving that money up. But normally in the NFL, what is the Cuervo? What's the NFL about?
And what has he done?
Yeah, and normally I think I'm on that, but not when you're the contract is not just maybe you'll get $100 million. That's a guaranteed contract. This guy signed. He gets every penny, and maybe he's hoping to get fired and collect $70 million just for sitting at home or sitting on ESPN because that's where he'll go back to. That will make out like a freaking bandit. He could give a rat's fat ass what in the hell happens to him.
Dude, they went from Oakland to Vegas.
Yes.
Yes, this year was an anomaly, weird, no fans, anything. Are you telling me that the owners of the Las Vegas Raiders are willing to keep this dude on after he has not done very well over the last couple of years, and willing to not win games and not get fans in the stands and get money coming in or revenue. You're in Vegas. Hell, if you have a winning team, that's the hottest ticket in town.
Wait.
It's new.
Whoa. First of all, they're in Las Vegas. They're going to fill that stadium up each and every week, regardless.
Is it bad?
Second of all,
bad?
They could be the worst. They could be the freaking Jaguars, for God's sake. They could be the Jaguars right now, and they fill up that stadium, guaranteed, because it's about the NFL. Listen, Las Vegas almost doesn't exist without the NFL. Any team that's going to be playing will be filled with those fans that are visiting, never mind the home team. Listen, home team people, they don't do shit like this. This is they're going to fill it up. They got every sponsor and everything that's going on out there. They built a $4 billion stadium that looks like Darth Vader's helmet. They got everything going for them. Now, except for the fact, I get it, Chucky. Completely understand this guy. You know, when you think about what a football team wants to do, a football team needs keeping it real. But when you are that much vested, okay, we're talking 1/10 of $1 billion, 1/10 of $1 billion. Okay, now that equals 100 million. Now, granted, so I make it sound bigger than what it is, but it's 1/10 of $1 billion. Okay. Think about this. Patrick Mahomes is getting paid almost $50 million to play this game. $50 million.
Yeah.
Okay, now granted, he's successful. He's worth every penny. Kansas City did the right thing, didn't even play anything. Now, was it the mistake to get Chucky in the first place? I don't know. The way it looks right now, yes. But if this was a regular contract, Obie, I'd be right there. But when you're just gonna wipe your ass with $70 million and just give it to someone without doing anything for it, I just don't see it. Regardless if they're in Vegas, or wherever they're at, $70 million is a lot of money just to say, I'll just give it to this guy, just go away. I don't know.
You got to realize, I think this part of this contract was that the Raiders were going to get Chucky, knowing that they were going to be in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that, I think in their mindset was, hey, 2 years down the road, we're going to be in Vegas. We have Chucky, one of the hottest guys out there right now when they got him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, we're going to have a winning team. When we get to Vegas, we're going to have people in there. We're going to have asses in the stands, people spending money, people buying jerseys, memorabilia, and you and I know who goes to Vegas? The Stars.
Mm-hmm.
The Stars are going to be wanting to sit their asses in that stadium. They're going to play. They're going to pay buku amount of money to be part of the show, as you would say.
I get it.
Chucky is not the show.
That's a hard throwaway. $70 million. So
it is.
Obie says that if the Raiders lose today, I don't know. I just don't see it. I don't even think he's got griddle marks on his ass at all. In reality. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. So we'll see.
So is that why he's coaching the way he is?
Huh?
Is that why he's coaching the way he is?
Hey, after you don't make the playoffs, I don't think he gives a rip. I really don't. Now, is that a flaw in his character? I think it is, because you and me are on the same line. If you don't give 100% regardless where you're at, I don't think you should be allowed on the football field or in court or any field or whatever you play. If you don't want to give 100%, stay the hell home. And now, granted, that's probably what we're going to get with Chucky. He's going to just stay the hell home. I don't know. So, but it is what it is. All right, and Cuervo is ducked out, but we're going to head on to the next game here up on board. He'll probably jump in. And he did. Arizona Cardinals go on, and they're going to take on the Rams. Interesting about this, as far as the playoffs are concerned, and I know we're running late. We just have a habit of doing it anyway. It's just what we do. All right, so here we go. Here we go. Rams will clinch a playoff berth with a win or a tie today. So they need to win, or if the Bears lose, they're going to make it into the playoffs. The Arizona Cardinals, on the other hand, if they win, they're in, or if they tie and Chicago loses, they are in. So that is the scenario in this one. Both teams really need to get a win, and obviously, I mean, if they end up in a tie, that's AFC West shit. But in this one, picking a winner, listen, Kyler Murray's not 100%. Just to let everybody know, he's got an injury that he's dealing with. I don't know what it is. The Rams, I think, are a dark horse within this division of football. They don't get on the same page. They can be a very dangerous football team. I'm actually going Rams in this one because I don't trust Kyler Murray right now, because this is the first pressure moment that he's had in his career right now. So, Cuervo, looking at this one, Arizona and Rams, who do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I like the Rams just because, number one, I think they've, started gaining a little momentum again, and I need the Rams to win. So, there's incentive with that.
Incentive. Obie, coughing up a storm. What do you think?
Sorry.
No,
I picked the Rams.
I
picked the Rams. What's going to be interesting about this game is both the Rams and the Cardinals will know what the Bears have done already.
Yes, good point. Good point.
So if the Bears lose, it's all hell breaks loose because they know they can get in with the win.
Wait. If I'm not mistaken, they're both in. If the Bears lose, they're both in.
So then we sit players.
Yeah, so those teams make it. So that would be really interesting. You're right. I forgot about.
And by the way, Cardinals, the Rams have the Cardinals number.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I take Jared Goff over Kyler Murray anyway.
Jared Goff's not playing.
Pocket quarterback, so that's one of the reasons why I take him. So, interestingly enough, that should be a good game. It'll be a good game. So, especially if the Bears lose. So, interestingly enough, right. Take us into the next one. Seattle and San Francisco, another AFC or NFC West thing. Seattle really needs this one. They're not going to get the bye. I mean, they got the opportunity to get it, but it's so far-fetched that, Seattle getting the bye isn't anything that you can expect. Seattle needs to win. Green Bay needs to lose, as well as New Orleans. I think, so I don't really foresee that happening in reality. And San Francisco is San Francisco. But I still think the better team is Seattle. I'm on Seattle. Cuervo?
Yeah, I mean, I remember when this game used to have a lot more meaning than it does today. So, but regardless, I mean, there's a little bit. Seattle has a little to play for. I don't know if winning will, change their, what seed they get. I don't think they have. Do they have a chance at the bye still? I don't think they do.
Yeah, I just kind of went by that. In order for Seattle to get the bye, Seattle needs to. Let me just go back up to it. Seattle. Seattle needs to win. Green Bay needs to lose, so that means your Bears have to win, and then New Orleans needs to lose as well. Or if New Orleans ties, then they will get that top spot. So it's not impossible. Probable, I don't know. So I guess Green Bay and New Orleans has to lose. I don't know. That's a tough one. So it'll be interestingly enough to watch that one. So Yeah, but so are you on Seattle? I mean, you're on Seattle. Do you think 49ers can pull this off?
No.
They gave Jimmy Garoppolo, they say reports out there, Jimmy is going to be in San Francisco, which, by the way, needs to happen, needs to be that way if they're going to win. If they go to a rook, they just take 4 steps back. They need Jimmy Garoppolo, and they need Jimmy Garoppolo to play well for their future in reality. Next 2 years are based upon Jimmy G, not because of a rookie quarterback or someone they don't know. Obie, looking at this one, what are you thinking this one?
Sea Chickens. Easy.
Yep, the Sea Chickens, I saw that. So that takes us to the last game as we are close at the top. We always kind of have a habit of going over, but the Washington Redskins take on the Philadelphia Eagles, and believe it or not, all 4 teams in the NFC East have an opportunity at the freaking playoffs. Makes me want to puke. That being said, that's the name of the show. As far as the Washington Redskins, if Washington wins, they're in. So that if they give it, they win. However, Washington ties and Dallas gets a loss or a tie, they're in that way. Now, for the other side, for the Philadelphia Eagles, they got an opportunity. Where is it? I wrote it down. Mark that. They don't.
I don't think they do. They're out.
I was just saying, how in the hell are the Eagles getting in?
Yeah, so they can't get in. So I was thinking the wrong thing. So interestingly enough, I like Washington, but who's going to quarterback the team? I mean, that whole nonsense with Dwayne Haskins and everything. It is what it is. I'm not a great big fan of as far as what that whole situation is. But I like Chico. Listen, you say whatever you want about the Washington football team. They don't have a name, blah, blah, blah. Ownership is a pain in the ass. Chico is the right hire here. I really honestly think that because we would not be talking about them having a chance at the playoffs in reality, I think, without Chico, whether it be outside with the cancer situation or just for the fact that he's a damn good coach. So, Cuervo, look at this game. How do you look at Washington and Philadelphia in this one?
This whole Dwayne Haskins situation, guys, I think it could – I don't know which way I think it's going to impact the team. Is it going to be something that they, is in a positive way that, like, okay, he's gone now and we move forward as an organization? Or was he a guy that, in the locker room, guys liked him and kind of – kind of rallied around him, but I don't know what kind of teammate he was, but the fact that he's gone now, it kind of makes me just wonder, are they going to rally around the situation, or are they kind of like devastated by it? I don't know, but
good point.
Something tells me that I think that Washington will find a way to win just because of who their head coach is. I mean, obviously, I'm a big fan of Chico, so I think Washington wins.
Hemke, I think, is back up in Tennessee behind what's his nose. He had some experience as well, so it's not the worst roll into it. So, Obie, looking at this one, what do you think?
I think the Redskins find a way to get past everything that happened in this week with Dwayne Haskins, a.k.a. ex-Ohio State quarterback, who should have stayed. Who should have stayed another year. By the way, I mean, even though he was a captain at the beginning of the year, I think there might have been some players that were in his corner, but this whole fiasco that had been recently come up, and I think like, dude, that's not captain material.
Right.
That's a punk ass material.
I agree.
And so I think the Washington football team finds a way to rally and get behind Chico, and Chico is going to do everything that he can to win this game with what he has.
Really quick, back to New Orleans and Carolina. Are you ready to pull the trigger on Carolina, or are you going to stay with New Orleans?
Schedule of games kicking off in a matter of moments. 7 in the early window. Miami wins and they're in.
I stick with the Saints.
Yeah, stick with the Saints. So he's not.
Do I feel lucky?
Not going to pull the trigger. He's going to stay with the Saints. So, by the way, Obie, in case you don't know, tomorrow we'll be on at 1:30. I don't know. You'll probably be working, but it's Black Monday. It's a regular show we do here on this show as we look at some of the coaches that will get the adios on the and we'll be checking that out as well. So if you're able, hop on. I'll send everybody the link and everything, so you'll be all set, ready to go with that. I was going to try to get Jeff in, but we had a lot to cover, so we'll get Jeff in. So that's going to do it for here on today's virtual. Hey, show me that picture there, Cuervo.
Picture?
Yeah, show me the picture you're looking at right now. It's on your phone. It is football time. It is and look who's on there.
Oh, look who's on.
So, I'm going to get to the game. That's going to do it for us on the Couch Potato Sports Show. Thanks for joining us.
Go Browns. Go Buckeyes.
Yep. Yeah, there you go. 1:30.
Buckeyes. Don't get me started.
Oh.
Everybody take care. Bye-bye.